got that heat, let's go. I got that heat, let's go.
Damn. The Friday show. I know you were all waiting with bated breath. Or Cheeto breath, whatever. You might be hashtag ravioli gang right now, snacking, you know. I got a little bit of a panel with me. What up, EM Tech? What up, B?
Yo. Happy Friday, everyone.
What's
going on, everybody?
Hey, man. Happy Friday, y'alls. We made it. Another week in the books. Yeah, man. EM, what's good in your world, bruh?
Oh, you know me. Just staying busy.
Yeah,
Staying busy.
I believe it, man. What about you, B? Slaying the world per usual?
Absolutely, man. I'm exhausted.
He needs milk. I don't know if you guys ever saw that.
He needs some milk.
He's exhausted.
Oh, man. It's been a long week.
I hear you, man. Some weeks are like that, man. Yeah.
How are things in your world?
No complaints, man. Busy as all hell. But in I'd say probably in the next couple weeks, 10, 14 days at the most, things should slow down just a little bit, man. I've been doing a lot around the house, renovating, trying to modernize. It's just hard to find the time, man, because I got to keep doing my job. I got to keep doing the dad thing, the husband thing. None of that stuff stops. You can't put it on hold, man.
I feel you.
know?
Feel you.
It's all good. We'll end up getting to everything. Let's do some hellos. I got my members in the house. Big shout out to MS. I got some of my mods in the house too. Josh Posey. Rage and Dusty is here. South Joe in the house. We got Ed. EM Tech was in the live chat earlier, but he decided to join the panel, so here we are. What up, Joe? What up, Alan K? Zero Cool in the house. Archie. We do pita bread, spinach and meat pies, baklava, different types of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean, types of pastries. Biscuits, stuff like that. Cookies.
Quick shout out to all of the retail folks out there that had to endure the iPhone launch today.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, but you think the demand was there?
Oh yeah, I think this year is probably one of the more popular iPhones, I'd imagine.
Dang.
I know a lot of people who held out either last year or the year prior.
So this was their year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know too many folks in retail these days. Most of the people I used to know in the retail space moved on.
It's rough out there right now. I still got some of my prior connects that talk to them every once in a while, and it's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
Facts.
So, condolences to them.
Oh, hopefully sales are good. They got the holiday coming up too, so things get busy. What up, Jason? Reader John is here. Super 10 is in the house. My brother Keemon gracing his presence. Appreciate you, man. My brother Will's in the house. I heard the line in New York was crazy. That's what Super 10 is saying. I mean, that just might be because it's New York, though. You got a lot of people, right? Density. But, yeah, I'm sure there was some demand. Some people probably getting out of iPhone 12s, 11s. Which, let me ask you something, EM. Which iPhone generation do you think is like mass trading in and upgrading this year? Like which model? Like the 10R generation, the 11 generation, the 12 generation? Who do you think is doing the most upgrading this year?
I'm gonna say it's probably gonna be the iPhone 12 crowd, and then the straggler iPhone 11 people that didn't upgrade last year. I think those are gonna be not like the Pros or the Pro Maxes. Those iPhone 11s, like the base ones. I know a lot of people held on to those for a long time. So,
So my dad had an 11 and we traded in his last year and got him a 13. 14,
okay.
excuse me, 14.
It's a good upgrade.
Yeah, 11 to a 14. And he didn't ask me about the 15. I don't think he cares.
Yeah, my mom's still rocking an 11, so I think I think this year's it's about time for her to get rid of that thing. Get
She's
her
got an
into
11?
the base
Yeah.
11.
Yeah. Wasn't my favorite iPhone, I'll be honest with you, man. I think so far my favorite iPhone is the 14 Pro Max. I did like my 13 Pro Max and 13 Pro. They were fine. My 12 Pro was trash, bro.
Absolute trash.
It was junk. Horrible. It's like one of the legendary pieces of crap that Apple ever produced. And I would say it's right up there with like the 6 Plus.
Oh my god, the 6 Plus. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that bent and like the IC unit failed and the charging ports were failing like crazy. That thing was trash too.
Yeah, my 12 Pro it barely lasted the year until I got the 13 Pro, which I've held on to for 2 years now, and I don't think I really would have noticed a difference with the 14, but this year 15 Pro Max, we're going back to the big phone.
The battery life, man. The display. You know,
But
the smaller phone's cool. Like if you're gonna hold multiple phones, getting the smaller phone is fine. But if you're going solo one phone, I gotta go with a larger device, man. You know, and that's just kind of my process.
yeah, and I held that same sentiment for a long time, but I'm starting to notice now that I'm not tied to an outlet as much as I used to be. No, I'm not at retail. Like I don't have access to an outlet nearly as much, so um I just need the bigger battery, honestly.
Yeah. Or else you're charging your phone like at lunch or on drives to your next location, right?
Yeah, otherwise I just don't charge it and it's almost dead by the time I get home,
Yeah.
to be honest.
I get why the people go with the what is it? The Samsung Ultras and the folds and the flips. Yeah, it's just better, just bigger battery capacity, you know?
Yeah, I'm still thinking about getting a Z Fold. I don't think I'd go back to a Z Flip, but the Fold still calls to me. I just can't. I don't know if I can wrap my head around an $1,800 like
It's the
fun
dough.
phone, you know, or
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see.
Tech Guy 32 says, I heard AT&T was a nightmare canceling a bunch of online pre-orders over suspected fraud without contacting the customer. So what was their thought process behind like what gets flagged? And what do they do in reaching out to the customers? Do they even attempt to make contact or they just cancel? You know, that's terrible.
In
Dark
defense of the
Cohen's. Oh, go ahead.
As I say, in defense of the carriers, iPhones are notorious for fraud, especially on AT&T. So them being overly cautious, it might like, it's unfortunate if you're one of the people that had your pre-orders canceled, but as a whole, like that's a very synonymous across the industry that iPhone fraud is very common. So I'm not surprised that the carriers were a little bit overbearing with their fraud prevention measures this time around.
And they're probably concerned about supply, so they don't want to see that supply going to fraud.
Exactly.
No. Jar Cohen, I'm sorry, man. I'm really sorry. He said I might get iPhone 15 for T-Mobile from the 12. Do you know why I'm saying I'm really sorry to him, EM?
Uh, I do. I do.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. Sorry, man. Jason says, I apologize if you already discussed this already in the past, but I was wondering, did any of you guys see the iPhone 12 news when it comes to radiation in Europe? EM, did you catch that story?
I caught a little bit of it. I didn't read too much into it. So is that one of your stories tonight?
No, I've never heard of this.
Yeah. So from my understanding, the standard iPhone 12 models were either emitting more radiation than Apple had disclosed, or something along those lines. And the EU basically halted all sales of those devices in Europe. I don't want to speak on it because I don't know the facts or the full story, but that's just what I had heard.
That's wild, man. Now they want to come out and say this? I mean, that phone's been out for 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, they're a little late
Man.
to the punch.
Yeah, man. It's not like it's gonna help anyone, right?
All those people are going to be upgrading anyways, right?
Mhm. What else? What else? What else? Reader John says debating going from the 13 Pro Max to the Pixel 8 Pro. Yeah, man, that Pixel is gonna be good. What's the biggest downside going from a 13 Pro Max to a Pixel 8 Pro? Yeah.
Ooh, that's tough. Well, you know my stance on the Pixel. If iPhones allowed RCS back and forth, I'd use a Pixel as my main daily phone. That is quite literally my only barrier. I absolutely love the Pixel 7 Pro. The only downside I could see would be like performance, depending on how the Tensor chip fares compared to the Qualcomm's. But other than that, you're getting a overwhelmingly better software experience compared to iOS and like One UI. So you almost don't notice the performance dip when you go back to a Pixel. So I don't know. That's tough.
I love my Pixel 7 Pro. Best phone I got in my rotation. It's better than my 14 Pro Max. Software is cleaner, smoother. no jank, no stutters, no fails. Like just the other day, man, like 2 days ago, I tweeted I couldn't copy and paste text on iOS, bro. That I was trying to post like a community post for the members, and it literally wouldn't let me. I'm like, what is happening right now? And then I post that on Twitter, and I just to let people know, and they act like I'm crazy. They pretend like Apple doesn't have issues with iOS. Like I would say for every 3 iOS fails and like app fails, I have 1 Android fail when it comes to the Pixel. My Samsung S22 it's a little janky at times, but I think it's because I got the Dish variant, like with respect to the firmware. I think that matters with Galaxies. So I can't say decisively what's going on there because I don't have it's not unlocked or whatever. But yeah, man, that Pixel's
Yeah,
got the best software experience. It's got the best photography. I think the iPhone has a better video recording capability. Battery life on the 14 Pro Max is much better. You know, there's strengths and weaknesses to these phones, but like charging rates, Galaxy's the best. You know, like it's always so clear like what you prioritize when you buy a phone. You know, you might be punting certain things and then making concessions and negotiations with certain features, you know, whether they're there or not, you know.
yeah.
Uh,
I think overall the Pixel has there's less downsides than there used to be, if that makes sense.
mhm.
Like used to take a pretty cut rate experience going to a Pixel, and you kind of knew that going into it. But they've really, I think, ironed out a lot of the long-standing issues that they've had. So I mean, you point in case, you know, Apple could very easily introduce a clipboard feature onto their keyboard, but they don't.
You know,
It's not that hard.
I don't have a problem with what people like. You know, everybody likes what they like. But that has to be the conversation. The conversation can't be like I pick the iPhone because the Pixel sucks. That is wrong. You pick the iPhone because you like the iPhone. You know, the Pixel devices, the Galaxies, they don't suck at all. They're both powerful in their own right. They're both smooth in their own right. Strengths in some ways that are much better than the iPhone. But if you like the iPhone, that's why you have it. It's because you like it. It's not because the other phones suck. It is just not true. I don't really have a phone that sucks. You know, I got a Galaxy, a Pixel, and an iPhone. None of them suck. Each one's got its own little thing, but I wouldn't say any of them are terrible at all. Not even close.
No, but to be fair though, I think that this past generation of phones, and including the S22, is where we really saw like Samsung turn a new leaf. Pixel figured out all their issues from the 6. I mean, the 6 was a train wreck. The 7 was a new lease on life for the Pixel line. I think the S22 fixed the majority of the very apparent issues the S21 series had, and iPhone just keeps giving their customers one new feature a year, and people will buy $1,000 phones. So, you know, we're in an era where there is not a bad flagship to buy or one to
Agreed.
avoid.
Agreed. Maybe maybe a phone that isn't going to have long-term support, maybe, would be something to stay away from, right? Like a Moto, as good as the software is, as powerful as they are, you know, support is suspect. Updates, OS updates, stuff like that. You know, Lenovo, Moto, whatever, not great. Uh,
But even then, they're upping the amount of time that they're gonna continue to support their devices
well,
too.
they
So
had
it's
to
like,
respond, man. People started, you know, looking at that aspect of it.
because what we're at like 5 years for Samsung phones,
Samsung
5 year,
stepped it up, right?
5 years for Pixels, Apple, an eternity. It's one thing I'll give Apple credit for is that they have built a product ecosystem where all of their old devices are able to scale with the software upgrades, which is really nice.
10R
But
still getting updates. SE is still getting updates.
God, that's crazy. The 10R's like old, man.
Bro, a lot of my students have 10Rs. A lot of
Really?
them. Yeah, but their battery capacity's down in the 70s, battery health. Phones crashing, freezing up, Face ID ain't working. Like, that shit's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they're kids, man, so they drop their phones like 100 times a day,
if you think about it, what you get out of an iPhone for their base product now is, I mean, I don't think it is necessarily still worth the money, because I think the base iPhone models are still overpriced for what they are. Well, compare that to what you used to get for like the first iteration of a mid-range iPhone. It's pretty wild. Like,
So here's what I'm doing if I'm looking for a good deal. I want to get a somewhat recent iPhone on a good deal. I'm buying on like eBay or Swappa or like, something secondhand. An iPhone 12 with like absolutely wrecked battery health. Like the person's like selling it because like it's down to like 71%. I'm buying that sucker for like $180 and I'm putting a new battery in it. And that's my iPhone. Like if all that matters to me is cost. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm. Even then, I'm just looking at Swappa right now. Even an iPhone 13 Pro, you can get them for $500. Like, that's a 2-year-old flagship phone that's got better specs than any mid-ranger that are around that price. As long as it's in decent shape, like.
Now from the Android side, I'm probably doing the same thing, but I'm doing it with a Pixel, like a 7 or I don't know, I guess maybe a 6 Pro. You're probably getting that sucker for $200, and it's probably going to be good for a couple more years of support,
Yeah, I wouldn't touch a used Samsung phone with a 10-foot pole. I'm gonna be honest. It'd have to be a
Yeah,
Pixel.
yeah.
But even then, like, I'm looking at their like used pricing. S22 Ultras are going for around $500 too. That's a phenomenal phone for $500. Like, I don't think you can beat that.
You know what's crazy, Archie? My students do know about my freaking podcast, man. They always tune in. They'll come up to me on Mondays and be like, "Yo, you had a live stream Friday, man. I didn't know what the hell you were talking about." They're like, "Yo, I tried to listen, man. I was lost, bro."
That's
They're like,
awesome.
straight up, we have no idea what you're talking about, but we gave the videos a like, man, and we were out, They're honest, man. When they want to be.
All right, what do you got queued up for tonight?
Man, I got some stuff, man. I got some Dish Network price hikes.
Oh,
Robocalls are back on the rise. Apple sending out an emergency OS update upon activation of new iPhone 15s. Amazon Prime, they're messing around with the commercials, man. They're gonna now have a commercial-free version of the service that's gonna cost extra, right? So the base plan is gonna have ads. There's some company called Arvig going 400 gig fiber circuits for backbone fiber. FCC is doing some stuff for rural 5G home internet, so we'll take a look at that story. Amazon home internet, Project Quipper or whatever it's called. Is it Quipper? What is it?
Kuiper.
Kuiper. God damn, son. All right, so we got Kuiper. Maybe some news there. Total by Verizon hitting like mass expansion. Listen, I told people this shit was going to happen, and it literally just happened. 50 Total by Verizon stores in LA alone. LA. You know who they're attacking, right? You know which brands, right?
Oh yeah, that's a Metro and Cricket killer right there.
Yes. They're going to come in, they're going to match the prices that Metro and Cricket offer, and they're going to kill them with the promos, free phones. And I don't know what other things they could do for them, but yeah, maybe they'll give them free beanies and shit. Dennis can hang in there. uh There's a new mini portable dish that Starlink's gonna have. So that's kinda exciting for people that are looking for a dish to throw on their car or truck. And some of this might be extra at the end, like MWC Vegas, AI, 5G SA, those topics, and then, really what I wanna do is I wanna make sure I get to the T-Mobile hack so you guys can go in a little bit. See, the thing about, like, stuff like that, EM, and this goes to B as well, I make videos all week. People get the news from me, and then they get my take, right? And when I got a panel, I like to get the panel's thought process and takes on things, so I'll get you guys to kinda chime in on those topics. You guys ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Let's rock and roll.
Man, I almost wasn't ready for the show, man. It was, like, literally at the buzzer, you know what I'm saying? So, like, everything was, like, last second. I barely had enough time to make my coffee, dude. Speaking of caffeine, if you guys wanna support the SMT, you can buy us a coffee. Link is in the description. Like how I did that, EM?
That was slick. That was
Yeah,
slick.
that's what I do, bro. That's what I do. Alright. Dish Network announces price hike. Expect it in October. Dish Network on Friday said it would be raising the rates on all of its plans, making it the latest player to announce a price hike this year. The change will equate to a $5 price hike on all plans, takes into effect the October 12th billing date. Okay, so Dish has cited rising programming costs for the hike. In fact, this is the quote from Dish. In fact, the fastest growing cost we and all TV providers have is driven by the cost we pay the programmers. So they're not blaming inflation, they're not blaming shareholders, they are blaming programmers. All right, what do you think, EM? You think anybody's going to leave Dish over the $5 price hike on all the plans?
I don't think so. I mean, people who still have satellite TV are pretty dedicated to the product at this point. Like,
Yeah.
and they're already used to the balloon pricing. Like this is nickel and diming. I don't think that it'll have much impact. But I guess it begs a bigger question of who's to blame. Like the content providers are charging more to the telcos because they're losing money on their streaming services that they created to squash the telcos. It's just it. I don't know. I don't feel bad for the content providers, and I feel bad for the companies that like Charter. You know, Charter had that big scaff with Disney.
Yeah.
I feel bad for their customers because it's not.
Because they're losing the programming or they're caught up in those deals or whatever.
Yeah, like you're as the customer, you're caught in the middle. You lose access to your programming because two giant corporations can't agree on a rate for the content. Like it's kind of sad. Like I don't know.
Par for the course, though, within this industry, though. I mean, we always see Dish falling out with some carriage, situation, and sometimes it's local sports, sometimes it's movies, sometimes it's a certain network. We see channels coming and going all the time. I mean, we're anticipating like ESPN, Disney, all that stuff to be completely disconnected and it finds its way onto an app, right? With the exclusivity type deal. So at that
Yeah,
point, I guess the programming actually drops in cost, with
y-
respect to like a cable bundle or a satellite TV bundle.
yeah. It begs the question to how what type of longevity Dish's TV product has. I mean, it's been dying for years. Like,
Well, they
is
haven't
it?
had a growing quarter in like 7, 8 years.
God, that's depressing. I,
So
I
that 7, 8 years, we're talking about like 30 consecutive quarters.
yeah, they got to pivot, man. They got to pivot.
Well, they are, right? I mean, wireless is their new business. They just like have to do business things, you
Yeah,
know?
we'll see. I don't have much faith in Dish anymore. I'm gonna be honest.
I don't either, bro. I mean, I was one of the biggest supporters.
And I wanted them to succeed. I really did. And my concerns from the get go were their retail presence and their customer acquisition practices, and they've fallen flat on their faces in both respects. So it's just one more nail in the coffin. Pretty soon they're gonna start throwing dirt on top too.
Oh,
It's
damn.
I hate to
Oh,
be a
damn.
Debbie Downer, bro, but it ain't looking
Yeah.
good for them.
Yeah, it's very descriptive language right there. B, let me get you in here, man. $5 price hike across the board for Dish TV services. What's your take? Oh, maybe we lost B. We'll see if we can get him back. All right. Next story. All right. Robocalls are back on the rise. Oh my god, man. I hate these things. You get them ever?
Not as much as I used to. The robo texts are what are really
All the emails, the texts, all the spams and all that and scams.
on my AT&T phone especially, just ridiculous amount of fake texts.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know why.
absurd. Yeah. All right, reversing a recent downtrend, robocalls increased by 5% in August to 5.4 billion, according to RoboKiller Insights. I didn't even know that was a thing. The worst offenders, the report said, were robocalls related to financial services, debt collection, medical scams, and loans. It's not just the scam calls that are the problem. Robotechs are a problem, EM. Even with a 4% decrease in robotechs, Americans still received 11.3 billion robotechs in August. Damn. While some robocalls and robotechs are legitimately helpful, like appointment reminders, many are responsible for financial losses. Americans lost $9.2 billion to phone scams in August alone. Scammers are on pace to steal in excess of last year's record, $85 billion. Who the hell is taking these calls? Why?
That is insane.
The hell, man? Look, like, okay, so you know how I live the pixel life, right?
Yes, sir.
Call screening. I let Google answer the phone call for me, man. And people always hang up. The robocalls hang up automatically. And if they don't hang up, it just starts transcribing what they're saying. I never even had to answer the call.
That's easily the best feature of Pixel. To be honest, I know Apple implemented something similar in iOS 17, but it's not even close to what Google can offer.
Everything that Google does with respect to the Pixel and those lifestyle features is the best. Nobody's touching it. Those are some of the best features. I mean, they're literally like improving the quality of your life by you not having to deal with that bullshit, you know?
I just check in on your grandparents, folks. Make sure they're not clicking on these links.
yeah, facts. All right, so things were trending down, which was great. Looks like stuff's kicking back up. These things are a pain in the ass. I mean, I'd like to one day just wake up and magically they're gone forever. I just don't know how far away we are from that day. You think we ever get there?
No, I mean where there's a will, there's a way. It's
An evolutionary arms race between the scammers and the robocalls?
pretty much, yeah. I mean it's where there's an opportunity to take advantage of someone, you bet you there's going to be someone there to try and swindle someone. So I it's all about mitigation, right? Like educating your family members, educating consumers. You just have to help a friend out, make sure that they know
Mhm.
what to look for.
Education. Good information.
Sir.
Next. We were talking about the iPhone 15 earlier. Apple has officially released an emergency security patch just days after iOS 17 rolls out. Oh, God. So Apple released an emergency security patch for iOS, iPadOS, and watchOS to kill several zero-day security vulnerabilities found in OS 17 just after its release on Monday. Vulnerabilities might have been actively exploited in versions of the software prior to iOS 16.7. Zero-day vulnerabilities are gaps in security that hackers discovered before Apple did. The bugs spotted and patched yesterday make a total of 16 zero-day fixes this year. Users should make it a priority to get their software updated to the latest version. Make sure you guys go ahead and do that if you haven't already. Go to the general settings, go to the software updates, and just go ahead and let it work its magic. Do it over the air. It's super easy. All right, good. Maybe we helped some people there, Em. What's your take on the timing, though, man, having to rush that out like that?
I mean, we've seen Apple do a lot of emergency security patches, especially recently. Um, Anytime there's a new iteration of an operating system, there's going to be exploits. There's going to be people that find them. Good on them. Good on Apple for getting it out to devices as soon as possible.
Hit
But like,
everything. Watch, iPad, and phone.
and that's maybe the downside to Apple's OS implementation is that if there's a 0 day on one device, it's a good chance there's one on the other because they're just running different versions of the same operating system. So as long as they stay on top of it, I think we'll be good. And clearly they take initiative when it comes to security. So I'm happy. I'm chill.
How many iOS devices you got, or Apple devices?
Um, I just gifted my MacBook to my sister. She needed a new laptop, so I've got 4.
Okay,
iPhone,
because they
watch.
definitely didn't mention macOS, so that wasn't impacted. So
But
this was all the mobility stuff: the iPad, the watch, and the phone. Yeah.
hack my Apple VR headset.
Damn. I wonder how many people got those, man. What's the demand like?
That's what honestly that's what I want to know. I want to see. I don't think we'll find out until they announce like the next generation, but I really want to know what the take rate is on that. Just given the price.
Hey, Steve, Apple becoming like Windows with all these security issues. Apple just works. It just works. Just works like shit. The hell out of here. That just works bullshit. All right, next story. We're lining them up and shutting them down, dog. Amazon Prime adding commercials to its Prime Video service. Commercial free will now cost extra. Oh, damn. We want more money. Give us more monies. All right, so Amazon has announced that it will be adding commercials to Prime Video. Now, the base Prime Video that's included with Amazon Prime will have commercials starting in early 2024. If you would like the commercial free experience of it, that's going to cost an additional $3 a month. Commercials will be added to movies and TV shows in 2024 in the US, UK, Germany, and Canada, followed by France, Italy, Spain, Mexico, and Australia later in the year. Amazon says its ads will be meaningfully fewer commercials compared to what you would see on cable TV. All right, I'll be honest, man. I don't believe them. First of all, meaningfully fewer. It's going to be the same bullshit, right? And second of all, I mean, they'd rather you be on the ad version because they'll make more money on the ad revenue than you paying $3 a month to go ad free. What's your take on this, Ian?
Yeah, it's like what have you watched cable TV recently? Like at all?
I don't, man.
I was watching a football game. Just the amount of commercials. I mean, you're spending more time watching ads than you are the content. It's insane. And so it might be less than what cable TV gives you, but it's that doesn't say much at this point. Like,
So if cable TV shows 5 ads between each break between the action, they're going to show you 4. And they're going to say that's meaningfully less. It's 20% less.
I think if anything, they probably have done some study where it's like, okay, at what point does the average customer, get
Click
annoyed with
away.
ads,
Yeah.
and then they hit that threshold, and then they'll get some premium subscribers that pay the difference, and then they'll make the money off the people who don't want to. But It's just another cash grab. Another cash grab, bro.
Hey, big shout out to an anonymous donation to the coffee app. Thank you, man. Thanks for the coffee. Same person who bought us coffees last week, continuing to support us. Thank you so very much for that. Really nice of you. What's the cost of Amazon Prime? Is it still like $120 or something, 130?
That is a good question. I've been fiending off my parents' Amazon Prime for a
Ha!
long time.
Oh man, that's dirty.
$139.
So $140, you get that Prime Video services, you get the overnight shipping or whatever, right? You get preferred pricing on specific items, right? There's some perks and benefits. I mean, it's worth it if you're a frequent buyer, and if you're using the Amazon Prime for the music and the TV and stuff like that, it's a good value, So now they don't want to impact churn rate. Like they don't want people leaving because of a price increase. They've already done that. So now they're like, all right, what else can we monetize? Oh, here's what we'll do. We'll make the ad-free tier cost a few dollars more, and then people will either pay it or better for us, they'll just stay on the entry level tier to pay less and they'll watch all of our ads and we'll get good revenues. I'm telling you, EM, I think deep down inside they prefer that you guys don't buy the ad-free version. They'd prefer that you consume 20 ads an hour, which can generate for them, you know, tons of revenue across, the scale in which people are watching. I mean, how many people got an Amazon Prime membership and watch Prime Video? It's got to be millions, right?
It's got to be. I don't know. I don't know a single person who like actually actively uses Prime Video. Most of the people I know use it for like the one-off show that they want to watch, and it just happens to be only on Amazon Prime. It's not like a Netflix or a Hulu to me. I could be wrong. So I guess maybe they're not seeing the return on investment from hosting all of that content and paying the licensing and all that stuff. So it's hard to say. Like in my opinion, Amazon's probably the worst streaming service out there to buy.
With respect to content.
Yeah, content
Yeah.
libraries and just their applications have never been clean. The user experience has been poor across all platforms. And half the time you'll see a piece of content in their library and it's not even available to you. You have to pay like a rental fee or something because they do
Oh,
like
yeah,
YouTube
yeah.
does. You know what I mean?
The movies, the premium fees, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Garbage.
Shout out to the homie Matt. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for that first super chat of the evening. Thank you. He said there's also a subscription for just the Prime Video. They don't advertise that though. Yeah, they want to get you on that full Prime subscription. Pay the 140 and get you in, right? Yeah, it's kind of like the same model that Costco uses. They get you on a membership fee and then, they sell everything at a low margin. And they're just happy to have you paying the subscription, or the membership fee, I should say. Earl says Amazon has also been eliminating or now charging for many things that used to be free for the Echo Alexa devices. All right, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Now I got everybody's stuff going all crazy.
That's how they get you. They get you with
Yeah.
that low cost entry level product. You fill your house with all these devices, and then all of the things that you thought were free or included for life, they start nickel and diming you for.
Yeah. That's the name of
Everyone
the game.
should have seen that one coming a mile away.
So I thought these stories would be helpful to people. I figured those are some of the services and stuff that people use. What do you think, EM? You think we should continue to kind of do some of those things periodically?
Yeah, I mean it ties in pretty well to the mobility aspect of your
Yeah,
content.
cord cutting, mobility, home broadband. I mean, we cover so much of that stuff here.
And I think it's important because a lot of these extra little fees that they add discriminately, like can kind of like you know, fly under the radar for a lot of people who don't pay attention. Their lives are too busy to pay attention to this stuff. So, I mean, I appreciate it. I'm sure your community does as well.
I'm sure they do. We just want to help people out. It's kind of the
Sir.
mission. It's kind of the mission of the channel, man. It always has been, always will be. This story from Telecompetitor, I just came across it, man. I think deep down inside, you, me, B, we're all kind of wireline, you know, snobs. We love the high capacity grade fiber circuits, so this is kind of cool. I've never heard of this company. Arvig boosts speeds to 400 gigabits per second. All right, so this is a fiber broadband provider who has just constructed its first 400 gigabit per second capable routes in parts of Minnesota's backbone. Routes located in Minneapolis St. Paul metro area offer the potential for 4 times as much capacity as the former 100 gigabit per second network. So basically, 4x capacity upgrades. They also reach into central and north central Minnesota, going into major regional hubs that include St. Cloud. The upgraded portions of the backbone can scale to 1 terabit. It's pretty damn fast, homie. The network upgrade positions Arvig to offer premier enterprise-grade fiber-based high bandwidth service to many customers in Minnesota, especially in the metros. Investing in this level of capacity will ensure that our customers get optimal performance from their services, from internet to carrier Ethernet to hosted PBX and more. All right. It says here that the company entered a $4.4 million public-private partnership with Redwood County, Minnesota, to bring 1 gig connectivity to residential customers, 10 gig services to businesses in Bellevue, Clements, Morgan, Seaforth, Vesta, Wabasso, Walnut Grove, and Wanda. So they're getting grant dollars in Minnesota. They got data centers being built. They got 15,500 route miles, right? That's growing by 1,000 miles per year. Hey, EM, what's your thoughts on that grow rate, and what's your thought on that speed and the applications that can now utilize that capacity?
I mean, so long haul fiber routes are all kind of seeing this push for capacity increases, no matter
So
what
is this
company it
more like a
is.
location that maybe could be good for, the folks in Minnesota?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, one thing I really like about Minnesota is that on a state level, they're heavily funding broadband and broadband companies that are producing results, which is really awesome.
By the way, it shows in their numbers. I don't know if you ever looked at like where Minnesota ranks every year in like broadband speeds. It's always really good.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever look at just the carrier coverage maps as to where they're building out their mid-band network, is a very clear, like, telltale sign that there's good fiber infrastructure in those
Facts.
areas. Uh,
Facts. Yeah.
So I'm happy. I mean, 400 gig is the next step, and then you'll start seeing 800 gig and beyond by most long haul fiber providers. It's just kind of becoming an industry standard now as the needs for capacity are growing exponentially. It's just that the technology hasn't been commercially available at a reasonable price as up until now. So I thought that was really cool. Really, really cool stuff. I just want to know what type of infrastructure they're using for my own personal curiosity.
What about you, B? What's your take if we got B back? I don't know, man. Is B around still?
I'm gonna be sad. I wanted to hear his hot takes.
I know, man. Green chimes in with a super chat. He said, Sneed, how do you deal with fanboys of companies? Is there a way to cure them of their fanboy ways? There is no cure. I will say that sometimes they wake up when they realize that the company that they're fanning for doesn't give a shit about them. When that kicks in, the whole thing changes. But until that moment, it's like when somebody says they're sick and tired, they won't change until they're actually sick and tired of being sick and tired. So until that moment occurs where it just like the enlightenment happens, the light turns on, it just kicks in like, why am I shilling for a company that doesn't give two dams about me? And all they care about is that I pay my bill on time. And if you don't pay your bill on time, they cut you off to show you how much they don't even care. Right? Yeah, agreed, Ryan. Absolutely. That's how corporations work. I don't blame corporations for people being fanboys. That's on the fanboys. Why the hell would I blame the corporation? The corporation is just, their interest is to make money. They invite fanboys to be fanboys. I just don't understand how people would blindly support a corporation beyond like, oh, hey, you have good services and products. You can have my money as long as I get the services and products that I'm paying for. That's the relationship, right? At least to me. And I think if people took that approach across the board and, you know, didn't really think about fanboying or whatever, maybe there'd be less toxicity and better informed people. Have you noticed that, EM, that sometimes you look at like the folks that are fanboying, they're always like the most hyper aggressive, least informed or improperly informed. Maybe we just call it misinformed of all the folks within communities.
Yeah, I mean, I have no horse in this race because my blood bleeds magenta.
Oh God, that guy. Oh my God, man.
I laughed out loud when I read that tweet response. My blood is magenta color. Like,
Did you
come
see
on, man.
my response?
Yeah, dude. This is just why do people just why are people infatuated unless you are a stakeholder in the company to a significant degree? There's no reason to care about the brand behind the corporation.
There's
Like,
definitely a psychological element to it.
I wish I could have a case study done on those people, honestly.
Well, I mean, it goes across the board, kind of like what Ryan is saying. It's he likens it to sports and fanatics with respect to their team. Like the team could suck, but they like ride or die with the team. They defend the team. They got these rivalries and all this, and I guess he's right in a way. You know,
I guess, but like, especially in like out of all the industries, telecom, like,
so here's what I think people got to make sure though. At the end of the day, when you have objective conversations, you really want to just look at it from a factual standpoint. Put the fanatics and all that stuff to the side. Now, if you want to root for a certain entity or whatever because you just like it, that's fine. But I think you got to frame it that way. I just can't do it, man. I mean, I've purchased goods and services from companies that I thought were doing a great job and I supported. But the moment I'm not getting what I'm paying for, we're not friends anymore. You get what I'm saying, EM?
well, and that's how people should approach this. Like, you can root and holler for a company that you pay money to every month, as long as you're getting what you're paying for. That's fine. But people need to kind of change their viewpoint on the way that they interact with other people. I think is the bigger problem. But
All right.
that's enough
Good
of the
stuff, Green.
fanboyism.
Yeah, thank you, man. This one is about the FCC ramping up efforts to provide 5G home internet access to rural America. Man, I'm so happy that people can actually have something better than DSL these days. I'm really happy about this. All right, so the FCC is seeking further comment on its effort to connect more Americans with a 5G network with a goal of better using its updated coverage map to dole out needed funds. The FCC released a further notice of proposed rulemaking to refresh the record for the 5G fund for rural Americans to provide more support for areas with limited connections and resources. It also extended it to Puerto Rico, U.S. Virgin Islands. The proposal also explores whether funding recipients should be required to agree to implement cybersecurity and supply chain risk management plans to win bids. Yeah, that should be in there. What the hell? Who says that, man? Who's asking that question? That should be a yes. Wow, man. How important is cybersecurity in 2023 and beyond? Are you guys serious? Sheesh, man.
Pinnacle. Pinnacle.
Unbelievable. While it's not perfect, the FCC's updated broadband coverage map shows more than 14 million homes and businesses need mobile 5G coverage. The commission requests further comment to identify eligible areas for financial support during the 5G Funds Phase 1 auction. It proposes a modification to the standards used to accept bids to prioritize households in rural America, directing necessary funds to areas that need it most. I'm really big on this, man. So peep this out, EM. I'm blessed. When it comes to connectivity, I am blessed. I have been saved from the shackles of Cox Communications. And the savior, AT&T Fiber, right? And if I didn't have the AT&T Fiber, I could have T-Mobile 5G home internet. It would suck, but I could have it. I could have the Verizon 5G home, which has been working great. Who knows? Maybe I could have internet air. If I'm not sure if it would be available to me or not. If AT&T Fiber wasn't here, but like I would have options, man. So the fact that the FCC wants to kind of kick it up a notch with respect to the mapping and the locations where they can kind of maybe put together some things for infrastructure deployments, networking build outs, who knows, bead dollars, whatever, areas that need support, man. So like it ain't Cleveland. It ain't metros. Rural America, we're talking about the unbeaten path where you've got homes that are spread far apart and the infrastructure is weak. And I know a lot of people don't like the FCC, but like in a perfect world, like the FCC would love to just shore up full connectivity, coast to coast, north to south, every state, every square mile covered with some kind of wireline operator, man. But it's just damn near impossible. So I think the FCC is smart to look at it in this respect. Fiber ain't going everywhere, but 5G home internet can basically go where everybody is. Do you get what I'm saying, EM? I think there's potential in this. What say you?
I think you hit it spot on. I mean, as much as a perfectionist as I am, I would want fiber everywhere. Sometimes it's just too damn expensive for any company, whether it's a local or a major telco. It's the US is such a huge country. It the amount of fiber miles that are needed in some places is just unattainable. Granted, if we're going to start providing or, prioritizing 5G deployments in rural America, I would really hope that there's also going to be some spending in the fiber infrastructure to support those sites. But as far as getting it the last mile to the customer, fixed options are sometimes the best, honestly. So I'm happy. I think that those areas are sorely lacking. I travel them every day. The connectivity is rough, and everyone out there feels that pain.
What's the
So
longest stretch of miles that was like an absolute nightmare? No coverage, weak coverage, unusable, poor experience.
I was up near Zero Cool's neck of the woods, and
Oh, damn.
there was a good I want to say it was almost 50 miles where
Damn.
cell sites didn't stay connected, dropped calls, no data. Service was in and out. I mean, there were good stretches where all three carriers had no service. You know,
Huh. So we're talking about dozens of miles where basically your phone was useless.
Yep, pretty much. Granted, there's no people out there, but if there's an emergency, I, I didn't feel very safe not having some way to contact anybody when I was out there. So
So EM, there is a use case for the satellite connections, huh?
I wouldn't go that far. I'm a naysayer on the whole satellite thing.
Really?
Terrestrial connectivity or bust.
I mean, the satellite bridge, man, for calling and texting can do it, man.
Yeah, it can do it in the lab. DOCSIS 4 can do it in the lab. there's a lot of things that work in the lab. Real world, I don't know.
Are you saying it's not worth the investment?
I'm saying that there's a potential for there to be a significant investment that does not have a good ROI, and that money would be better spent bolstering their terrestrial network. Like,
So instead of bolstering a satellite constellation, let's just continue to forage, through for more sites.
exactly.
Yeah.
That's been my opinion from the beginning. Like, yes, Starlink is cool for people who didn't have connectivity before, and I would argue it's a revolutionary solution for those people. But at the same time, all of this talk of phone calls over satellite, you know, it's not going to be reliable, and the customers would be better served with a denser terrestrial network. That's And I know AT&T's got their results with AST Space Mobile, and I think Tech Guy 32 kind of highlighted that. Yeah, it sounds cool, but like at the same time, give me a real world application where you have hundreds of customers that may or may not be connected to that same LEO satellite, and you know, satellite moves and all of a sudden you drop that call. I don't know. I don't see it working out as people think it's going to work out.
All right, so I got an idea, right? Some of those dollars that we've been seeing going to wireline operators, and I know you poo-pooed this the last time we talked about it, but I think the conversation is going to start looking like if fixed wireless providers like Verizon and T-Mobile and now AT&T, if they're willing to do fixed wireless, they need to be in play for these monies. And then they could start building sites for that service. So when you build a site, it becomes obviously mobile network access, but that mobile network access is a shared fixed wireless option as well. See, it brings together synergies. It improves the ROI proposition. If I've got mobile users that need the connectivity, plus I got fixed wireless access users, I might be able to put 10, 15, or 20 fixed wireless subscribers on each sector. Who the hell is going to turn down 50 customers on a cell site that are willing to pay $50 a month for fixed wireless? And of course, those customers are going to probably take to the bundling to get a discount. So they're going to move to their wireless provider too, or vice versa, however that goes.
Yeah, I
And,
mean,
and I think if you can get the funding behind it to support it, there's willingness to build. I don't think that the willingness is there for the carriers right now because a bulk of the build, is basically done to them. There are people who are saying the amount of coverage that AT&T has today and T-Mobile and Verizon, this is basically what it's going to be. People are saying that the network might grow 1% in the next 5 years. Well, that's not many new sites, man. And there's going to be densification, but you know where the densification is happening, EM. It ain't in freaking rural.
well, Verizon announced that rural initiative with Vertical Bridge for like
Yeah,
1,200
but
new sites or something.
that's good, but dude, you're talking about to truly densify in places where you got a tower site every 9 miles? That's got to be like one every 6. It's
Yeah,
got to get the grid has to get tighter and a brand new tower site's $1,000,000. And there's no guarantee that you're going to get fiber there, so it's going to be, microwave backhaul, right? So you're going to have a gig and a half maybe shared between 3 sites. You're going to shoot it point to point for that backhaul, right?
yeah, but I mean, with the BEAD funding and all of this extra money that's being just thrown at fiber providers right now, you can bet your bottom dollar that they're putting more fiber in the ground than what is serving those residential customers. So that I see this as a prime opportunity for telcos to collaborate on taking advantage of that newly built fiber infrastructure, put up new sites, and I don't know, fixed wireless versus satellite is just, I'd take a fixed option any day.
Of course.
What and
Absolutely.
I know Steve commented it takes a long time to run fiber. Satellite internet gives people good internet now that don't have it now. That's true, but again, it's a temporary solution that's currently being overbuilt by hundreds of companies. So it'll work for now, but I'd be willing to throw an entire paycheck at, the minute that those satellite customers have a fiber option, they're ditching that satellite option right away.
All right, man. Let's stick with that theme. Amazon's new home internet service get help from the FCC's new streamlined satellite application process. All right, let's read about this. Today, the FCC announced a new streamlined satellite application process, something that is sure to help SpaceX and Amazon's new home internet service. The FCC says that the new rules are needed to meet the growing needs of today's commercial space sector. It also hopes to help speed up the thousands of requests from companies like Amazon and SpaceX looking to build worldwide networks of satellites to offer high-speed internet. The new rules take concrete steps to provide the initial processing of applications for authority to operate space and Earth stations under Part 25 of the Commission's rules. Today's report and order establishes timeframes for placing space and Earth station applications on notice for public comment, permit applicants to apply for authority to operate in frequencies and bands where there is not already an international allocation for the satellite services to be provided. NGSO, in reference to that, and their licenses to have more than one unbuilt system without facing potential dismissal of the apps, and streamlines processing of Earth station operators' requests to add space stations at points of communication. Okay, so trying to get satellite operations going, that's going to get a lot easier, especially if you're going to be the first one to do it with respect to launches. Amazon's getting ready to launch their home internet, folks. That is 100% going to be part of why this needs to be kind of, I don't know, modernized, renovated,
Sneed,
and changed. What's up, Pete?
is the Amazon Home Internet just going to be Dish fixed wireless?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I don't. I'm still waiting for Dish fixed wireless. That was supposed to be a thing. But I don't know how much CBRS they have active. I think that's probably what they do with that band. What do you think, Pete?
I mean, look at what Verizon did with CBRS. It'd be stupid not to. I mean, Dish has, AT&T and T-Mobile roaming for mobile data. Might as well monetize the license.
Well, they can't monetize that shit. I don't think T-Mobile's going to like the sound of fixed wireless on Dish through their mobile networks.
No, so they're going to have to hide it in Project Kepler. But it will also be fixed wireless if you look at the FCC application.
All right, so there's some more satellite stuff there. I don't know if you guys have any commentary on it. I did want to kind of pivot over to this Verizon and Total by Verizon thing. You guys ready for that?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'm interested to hear Pete's take on this just because he's the voice of reason right now, currently. Because I'll go off the handle, and I know EM's the same way. All right, Total by Verizon continues rapid retail expansion. 50 total stores in the greater Los Angeles area. Freaking 50, bro. Damn, son. All right, so EM, I think you hit it on the head. They're attacking Cricket. They're attacking Metro. LA is one of those places where I think both AT&T with Cricket and then T-Mobile with Metro, they probably are the market share leaders. And Verizon just upgraded LA with probably what? Thousands of 5G ultra wideband upgrades from macro cells to millimeter wave nodes they're probably putting the N77 on small cells at this point, right? So you got to monetize that. And it doesn't matter if you monetize through prepaid or postpaid. You're going to have to sell this damn network. And I had this conversation with someone about a month ago. There's going to come a point where the engineers at Verizon are going to be like, come on, Hans, can we sell our freaking network? We got all this capacity. We got all these sites, and we're not growing in prepaid. We're losing 375,000 a quarter. See, that's what this is really all about, dog. And I told you I was going to go off a little bit because when I look at what Verizon did when they bought TracFone, they basically just started letting it rot. They gave it no attention for the last year. It's been 350,000 loss, 330,000 loss, 280,000 loss. Enough. You have to aggressively promote this brand, give them attractive deals, and make people want to switch away, especially from Boost, man. Like, Total by Verizon can take all these Boost customers that are disgruntled and pissed off at Boost. I mean, what is Dish doing to keep their customers? They lie to them. They give them, all these promises and they break them. Like, those are customers that are free agents that are ripe for the taking. I think Total should be targeting Boost, and I think Total should be targeting Metro by T-Mobile with promotions as well as Cricket. Cricket's got the best churn. Maybe Total should look at the way that Cricket does business and look to maybe kind of adopt some of those things. Anyways, I want to kind of get your vibes on this. What do you guys think Total by Verizon is going to see in terms of success? And like, which markets do you think we're going to see stuff like this happening moving forward?
So I got
I
a
think
few
Tech
questions.
Guy 32 nailed it on the head. It took them a ridiculously long time to finally start competing in prepaid. So it's gonna be slow. It's gonna be a battle in the trenches for them to start, getting that market share back, right? They don't have the same
they never
household
had
recognition.
They never had the market share in prepaid. This is new to them.
Yeah, so it's gonna take them a while to kind of find that groove, and they take plays from Metro's playbook, take plays from Cricket's playbook, and make it happen.
I could tell you why it took so long.
'Cause they weren't.
Hans knew that he couldn't afford to buy Gators with TracFone money. He was going to have to buy New Balances.
Dude,
New Balances
can't
feel
downgrade
better
to the
on
New
the feet.
Balances, bro.
But you get what I'm saying? Like, the profits, they weren't motivating them. When they're looking at a $39 ARPU, their postpaid service ARPU is like $66, man.
Yeah, and I think Verizon kind of always saw prepaid as like a backup plan for customers who didn't want to go postpaid. And in reality, you can't approach prepaid like that. It just doesn't work. So it'll be interesting to see how the Total brand is received by customers. But I don't think it's going to overtake Cricket or Metro because those brands have just been around and established for such a long time.
They set the market trends too in prepaid. Anybody does a new plan, anybody's got a new phone promo, they're the ones setting those trends.
And there's just that. I don't know. There's only so much competition in prepaid, but they can't just let it all run out the door. So,
or else what'd they buy it for?
Yeah, billions
They
of
paid a lot
dollars
of money,
spent
6-7 billion. Yep.
just to lose those customers.
Better than Go 90, right, Pete?
Oh yeah, but real talk, 50 retail stores
50 in LA. Yeah.
Man, they should just post it up in bodegas.
Well, I hear that the dealers are thrilled. I'm not even exaggerating. The people that are opening these stores are very excited about the TracFone situation. They're looking at Total by Verizon as a way to get away from Boost.
Yeah, but you could also throw these up in a bodega.
I don't know, Pete. There's a lot of signage and stuff. A lot of space.
You ever go? Sneed, you don't go into a bodega. There's this great bakery in your neck of the woods. You don't need to go to a bodega. But you ask the guy in the bodega for a cell phone. They give you a cell phone plan. It could be total.
Yeah, it could be.
It could also be something from Mexico. Who
Yeah.
knows? It's a bodega.
Could be Page Plus.
Yeah, but 50 locations, that's a lot. I mean, there aren't even 50 bodegas within 15 miles of Hollywood Boulevard.
Hey, Pegasus, thanks for the super chat.
You want me to read this one out?
Yeah, man.
Pegasus I can't pronounce that last one. Kroniki? That's
Chronicle?
a KL.
Oh, Chronicle?
Chronicle. Let's go with Chronicle. Pegasus Chronicle says, is there any way to get VZW for 5 lines at $175 plus trade-in?
That would be the Verizon Wish I Could Get More plan.
Oh, you mean the need more?
The hoping for more plan.
So,
Oh no.
real talk, I haven't said this, been around since Verizon did the top tier plan. I'm calling it the gut more.
Everybody's got the names. Pegasus, I'm not really sure what to tell you with this, man. 5 lines, $175 plus a trade. I don't know if that's how it works, man. I mean, EM, you've been in retail before. Does something like that exist?
175. It's been a while without the I just do some quick maths here. So Unlimited Plus is being advertised at $30 a line. Multiply that by 5, that's $150 plus taxes and fees, probably about 175.
Gets
They
you
got
there?
iPhone trade-in promos. As long as you got qualifying trades, that'll cover the cost of the iPhones probably. And that's a reasonable plan for 5 lines for $175.
And gets you in all those new like entry level iPhones, right?
Yeah, well that'll give you, I think it's up to 1,000 last time I was checking. So you might even be able to squeak a pro out of that one.
Ooh.
Yeah, now's a good time to be a new customer.
Yeah, shop. Get on the network you want and get the deal from that provider. I know some people are still making purchasing decisions on their phone upgrades, and some people are making their purchasing decisions on the provider. Like for example, Pete, he can't have AT&T where he lives. It's not an option. The network's not good, so he's still picking T-Mobile based on performance. You know, we're still not at that point, Pete, where we were trying to get, remember our conversations 4 or 5 years ago? We want to get to a point where you could choose on anything other than the network.
Oh, yeah, but I tell you this, once a month there's this fish and chips cart here in my city. It's in a parking lot just north of downtown. Play some Pokemon Go while waiting. I know I left my AT&T data on when I cannot sign into Pokemon Go. This needs to change.
You know what, Pegasus? You might want to stay with that, man. I don't think you're beating that price anywhere. 8 lines Magenta MAX for $140. Where the hell are you going to beat that, dog?
It's better than what I'm paying.
More chicken.
I'm getting all the chicken, dog.
It's got like 6 free lines on that account.
All right, Reader John. I'll be honest with you, man. I used the Pixel on T-Mobile and Verizon, and they were great. I didn't use it on AT&T, and that was only because it didn't have the DoD support at the time. I don't know if it does now, but
It does.
I'll tell you what, the Pixel's great on Verizon, and it's great on T-Mobile too because of the uplink advantages. It's really nice. Yeah.
Who wants to be hacked more? That's a fair point.
So Pegasus is leaving because of the hacks? Is that official, Pegasus?
I mean, didn't Verizon just get disclosed for 80 hacks they didn't mention?
don't know how anybody's gonna win, Pete. What do you got to do? Like, should
Go
we all just
prepaid.
go prepaid? Everybody open up an account as Tony Stark or Thor Odinson.
I mean, you know, companies like Mobile X, you don't even need your real name while signing up. So.
Damn. Yep. And you know what, man? Word on the street is, because I've been following like some of Peter Adderton's action on Twitter. He's been pretty active, man. He's been, and when he gets active, shit starts happening over at the company.
Really active.
Dude,
Makes me tired.
Better entertainer than he is. Oh man, I enjoy going back and forth with that guy on Twitter. It's hilarious.
It's like a rabbit hole, though. You got to be careful, dog. Like, you better start setting aside time away from your job if you're going to be going tit for tat with Addy, man.
Oh man,
but he's no dummy, dude. He's pretty sharp.
No, he's got a really good gauge on the industry, like better than most people think.
Yeah. See, his delivery, he's like the homie, right? When it comes to delivery, but like, he knows his shit. He's in the industry. He was a founder of one of the biggest prepaid companies in the country, and he's seen him put it together and he's seen him take it apart, so he's got the experience within the industry. 50 freaking stores, man. That shit's crazy. Just in LA. We'll see where they go after this.
What are they doing? Put in a store next to every Boost, Metro, and Cricket, and TracFone?
Well, I mean, I'm assuming it's going to replace whatever multi-dealer TracFone situation was going on, right?
I think Charlie needs to take a play from Verizon's book on expanding retail.
Yeah. All right, guys.
It's cool. Cool.
Yeah. Here's the elephant in the room. I finally got you guys on the show to discuss this, right? Because I make videos and I already gave my piece. But this is the most recent disclosures from T-Mobile. So we heard there was a hack. We got news of it last night. Data breach, 90 gig file. I guess it had like T-Mobile customer care conversations with customers, some partial social security numbers that would sound like the last 4 digits probably, right? Names, addresses, account info, plan info, actually like the employees' names and information, like and so T-Mobile denies that it's going to impact customers. They're saying that it was a reseller or an authorized dealer that suffered the breach, and it's all like employee information. What I want to know is why the hell an authorized dealer has access to these systems and how that shit got hacked.
I'll tell you why it got hacked. They don't have me there.
Well, what are we supposed to do, Pete?
Well, we need them to be watching the show when I'm on so they know that I can fix their shit.
I'm of the belief that they don't have anything in place to slow any of these threats down, because these threats continue to happen, Pete, and it's different types of threats every single time.
Oh, yeah.
So they basically have backdoors all over the damn place. Go ahead, Ian.
So is this different than the bug in the My T-Mobile app where customers were getting access to other customers' billing information?
Yes.
This is completely separate.
Yes, T-Mobile said that is a completely unrelated event that was involving a technology issue.
Oh my God.
Some kind of a system update or switch or change modification.
What a mess. I totally thought that those were one and the same. That's insane.
No, this hack actually happened in April.
Jesus Christ.
So this went unannounced, unbeknownst to anyone. Why the hell it's... I guess the story is that everything hit the web yesterday. Everything hit the dark web, Telegram, Discord. Shit hit the fan yesterday. That 90 gig file. That's why it became a story yesterday. All of a sudden, all those like underground hackers started chit-chatting about it online. Somebody named Emo, or I don't know, Emu. I forget what the story cited.
That's crazy. If I'm a T-Mobile employee, I'd be fuming right now.
They refused ransom, Pegasus saying. I don't know about that. I haven't heard those details. I just go off the most recent news articles. I don't have internal connections at T-Mobile. You know, I don't know these hackers. Like I don't know, man. Yo, Mike, I'll be honest with you, man. I don't think any fixes are going to happen. I mean, off of what hint, what indication, what reason do we have to go off of to think that things are going to get fixed? Do we just magically anticipate that all of a sudden they're going to start caring? I mean, Pete, Pete, answer this for me, bro. If T-Mobile's been cooking with gas, growing like crazy, free
They
cash
need more
flow,
kerosene.
free cash flow is up the ass now, right? They got the synergies with the merger, and they have paid no attention to security. Why would they start?
They won't. I mean, they put an investment in. They said they put an investment in. The investment probably panned out, but the sheer fact that they're outsourcing and this is a reseller means they're moving the liability down the line, being like, hey, we gave this place the ability to access the system. It's on them to maintain air gap. And this is a reseller, not corporate. So they're going to be blaming the reseller. What should happen is them restricting the ability for the resellers to be able to get this up the line.
Just to make sure that we get this corrected, Archie, 90 gigs of data. If I said terabytes, I'm sorry. 90 gigs of data.
Also, 90 gigs of data of a hard drive propping up a monitor that holds more than that. So,
oh, thanks, Mike. Appreciate the support, man. Newest member. Thank you, man.
Especially if it's just like text files. There's a lot of
data
that could be stored in there.
I think there's some IDs in there, probably. What do you think? Pictures,
employee credentials,
yeah,
personal information. You bet.
Well, the IDs would only happen if the reseller is not following the new T-Mobile corporate store policy of look at the ID, validate name, don't do anything else.
Oh no, Pete. I couldn't comment or speculate on some of those details. We just don't know. But T-Mobile's deflecting here. You know, they basically came out and said, look, it's not us. It was a reseller, authorized dealer, whatever. I'm not sure if there's a better way for them to parlay this. Maybe they could have said, you know, we're cooperating with our resellers to fix the issue and prevent it from happening in the future. Don't you think that would have sounded a little bit better, Pete?
Totally would. And by the way, going with the app issue, mercifully my address didn't change. By the way, Baby Yoda, member for 11 months. He says, stop lurking and go thumbs up and subscribe. Plus, don't forget to share this content.
Thanks, Baby Yoda. Appreciate you, man. Oh, damn. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a moose sighting.
Woo! Oh, boy. Here he is.
I've probably been a member for 10, 11 months. What funky way do I do a message for that, or do I just not?
I think you just got to type in there. That's all.
So all I want to say is record iPhone launch.
What?
2014-esque. 2014-esque.
Which iPhone was in 2014? 6?
iPhone 6.
No,
level.
It's not iPhone 6 level.
Listen to me.
Come on, man.
Let me tell you this, because you cannot refute the facts. I'm telling you this. These are 110% factual as of today. Pre-orders were out of this world. Orders today were out of this world. Pickups out of this world. It was insane. Nobody predicted it.
Everybody's saying that the freaking economy is weak. Not really, apparently.
Not for Apple, dog. And also,
any economic trends, you can bet Apple's not following it.
oh yeah, because just to give you guys an idea, there are more trade-ins being done in this cycle than any cycle before so far.
And
so
the
that
promos
has
are
aided.
good right now, Moose.
No, not just the promos, Chacha, even directly from Apple.
Oh, they're trade-ins for unlocked devices?
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
I believe it. I'm sure there's a lot of people who are willing to take the hit on their trade-in.
Yeah.
Without the
let me ask him the same thing I asked you, Moose.
Yeah.
Which phones do you think are getting traded in at the highest rate? Is it the 11s? Is it the 12s? Is it the XRs? Which ones are they?
So in the industry, just to give a lesson for the community and everybody here on the panel, when we talk about phone generations, we always talk about the N series. So that's like N as in generation, right? So N-0 as of today is effectively the iPhone 15 series. N-1 is iPhone 14, N-2 is 13, N-3 is 12. The most popular traded in phone this cycle is N-3.
So the 3-year upgrade cycle is still the situation.
Yes. iPhone 12, iPhone 12 series is the most popular phones being traded in by a mile.
By a mile. Damn.
By a mile. We're talking more than 38% of the trade-in volume is iPhone 12 series.
You can thank AT&T for that trend.
Yeah,
well,
36 months.
You gotta upgrade your 12 to the one after the 13S.
So then the next one. So then people always ask is like, okay, what's the next popular generation that's being traded in, right? The next popular generation that's being traded in is N-4, which is iPhone 11 series.
There we go, EM. That's kind of what we were thinking, right?
That's yeah, I said 12s and 11s.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then after that, which is very, very surprising, is iPhone 13, and immediately following, which is at almost like neck and neck, is iPhone 14. iPhone 14 is being traded in at record numbers because of the cobalt issue on the batteries.
Damn.
The batteries in less than a year, Chacha, are degraded more than 10%.
Really?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Okay, so I got to ask, and this is obviously for anyone here on the panel. Do you think this is related to the supply issues and the pandemic production issues with Foxconn, with suppliers, that whole situation from 2-3 years ago? Do you think all that just came to a T with these last couple of devices?
Without making an assumption, I'd say there's a good chance, but it's hard to say. I mean,
because quality control, when you're having a hard time meeting supply and demand, right? Like, that's where you get quality control issues, and you start taking shortcuts, and you're just like, we got to meet these demands. Let's just ship it out. Let's get whatever we can. Oh, by the way, super chat from John Smith. Big salute to you, John. Thank you,
man. Let me get this one.
Yeah, go ahead.
John Smith with $2. My family and I are leaving T-Mobile tomorrow. John, you spoke up. Could you tell us where you're going?
Oh, yeah. Well, let us know which plans are you going to take too. And actually, tell us which plan you had at T-Mobile, and then tell us which plan you're taking at your new carrier. Interesting to see what he does.
Were you guys talking about the whole data breach situation again?
Yeah, Moose, we got another one, man.
Yeah, man. It's honestly at this point, if you
but this
are
one's
still
different,
on
Moose. T-Mobile kind of denied the whole customer info issue. They're saying it was an authorized dealer that got hacked, and it's a bunch of employee info. But like 90 gigs of data, Moose, there's got to be customer info there as well, right?
Man, 90 gigs of data, that's the same size as Modern Warfare 2. patch 1, season 1. That's like a lot of files, guys. So it's not anything to sneeze at. But I will say this.
Oh, here he is. Here he
Hey,
is.
Moose, that's like,
Here he is.
hold up. Moose,
EM.
that's like 4 Tears of the Kingdoms.
Yeah.
EM. Here he is, bro. It's the blood. It's the
blood.
magenta.
Got the magenta blood.
Oh God, here we go with the thongs. Come on, guys, but seriously, I would never feel comfortable if I had all my information, on a carrier.
Hold on, Moose.
Yeah.
SMT Nation, form Voltron. Got him. All right, go ahead, Moose.
No, I was just saying, like, when is this gonna stop? The headline is always T-Mobile got hacked. T-Mobile leaked this. T-Mobile is doing this. Even if it's employees, right? That means that there is an opening somewhere, and hackers are going to take advantage of any opening they can get.
Okay, Moose, let me throw this out here. You tell me if you agree.
Okay.
This is happening more so recently under the new T-Mobile, and I have 2 reasons why I think that's the case. Reason number 1, it's a much bigger company, right? Bigger target, bigger whale, bigger fish, whatever. I think that's part of it. And I think the other part is I think the new version of T-Mobile has really done some people dirty. And I think there's vengeance involved. I think there's inside action happening. People getting even, people being angry, disgruntled. I think that's part of it because they laid off thousands at a time. And some of them are probably angry and they're doing irrational things. So I think it's those 2 factors. Do you think any of that has credence?
Well, I don't know if employees are getting laid off and then they're immediately start like going into hacking. But
yeah, but don't you think there's some venom in there,
Moose? Hold up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one thing about hacking along these things. This wouldn't be hacking per se. It would be bad personnel management. There's a period of time, and it is often a significant period of time, even if you consider it a matter of hours, where once an employee is terminated, their VPN access and their credentials have not left the system. So if an employee is terminated or knows they're getting terminated the night before or on a Friday over a weekend, they could be accessing this using a legitimate gateway, legitimate credentials. It's just that nobody turned off their account and their credentials to get in.
That just means that they have a really bad IT department, because I'll tell you, in other carriers, you get shut off immediately as soon as. So, for example,
in every department I've run, like where we were dealing with any type of controlled information, the access was restricted before the termination.
Right.
But
is that not a security best practice across multiple industries?
Of course, that's a standard.
No, it's a best practice. It's not a standard.
Wait, who would not do that?
Well, I guess I misspoke. Best practice, but again,
who would not do that? That's what I'm saying is, who would be foolish enough to leave access enabled and then do a termination? That doesn't even make any sense. Who would let that happen?
Well, if the reseller is short up for cash when it comes through their IT department, that may be the case. By the way, another super chat from Pegasus Chronicle for $5. We'll answer after we're done with this discussion. But T-Mo 8 lines, $140 a month equals Verizon or AT&T plan budget $240. I need a plan with iPhone 15 Pro. Wow. iPhone 15 Pro Max international roaming.
6 line. Business, or when you say business or personal, that opens up the floodgates.
But let's get back to security best practices before we answer Pegasus Chronicle.
Uh-huh.
If it's a reseller and their IT department or the guy in charge was also impacted, it may happen. These lapses do occur.
But at the same time, I think Tech Guy 32 said it earlier, and he said it again. Like, authorized retailers should not have that depth of access to these systems. I know that for a fact, working in national retail as an authorized seller of AT&T and Verizon back in the day, like, we got bare bones system access, enough to perform
To
a
add a
sale.
line, add a phone, do a
Yep.
add features, right?
Yep, and as frustrating as it was, it made sense, right? Like,
Why have access to things you shouldn't be using?
yeah, and from the people that I've been acquainted with that work at T-Mobile and some that don't work at T-Mobile anymore, I mean, their internal system setup is an absolute train wreck, and it has been ever since the merger.
So, to me, anything you get the plebes, they can add lines, they can disconnect lines, add plans, change plans, add a financing agreement. But anything other than a retail transaction should be logged and limited to a manager or store owner if the action needs to be done. Otherwise, it should be completely unaccessible to anyone there.
And
All right, what do you guys think of this from MS? Didn't Verizon have a third-party issue last year with a third-party reseller fulfillment center? Should we stop allowing telco to use third parties? You're now changing how they do business. That's going to change their cost of operations. You think you can get that through?
I think there's a necessity for third party in this industry, and companies, all three of the major telcos rely on it very heavily, and prepaid is run on third parties, dealers and whatnot. It just there needs to be a limit of information that can be accessible by the reps in the stores, and that's kind of what it boils down to.
All right, Pegasus, to answer your question, man, you're never going to beat that T-Mobile 8 lines for $140 a month. You're just not, because of the way that the taxes are included and the fees. That's going to be the move. Now, if you have to move to Verizon or AT&T, where you can make up some of the cost is by mix and match. So you can get yourself, like, for example, you want to be on all iPhone 15 Pro Maxes, then it's AT&T. I really can't even tell you to go to Verizon because I don't think you're going to get the phone deals. And
You
you
can.
mentioned international. Like, nobody does it better than AT&T.
I don't know. I like my T-Mobile International. I don't get a $10 day pass automatically applied. I mean, I have slow data, but I can still, access my hotel reservation, hail an Uber.
Yeah, but
Although I think for his international, he's Mexico and what's that other country?
UA?
Is that Ukraine?
UA?
I think that's Ukraine.
So in Mexico, if he wants to do Mexico, yeah, AT&T would be the play.
Yeah,
but
again,
at the same time, you got the Verizon plan that has the international included, which would cover that second country.
How much would it cost on those 8 lines, man? That's definitely taking you into the 240 range.
Beyond the 240 range.
Yeah, but then again, you can still mix and match. I don't know. I think you'd have to.
But how
really...
how do you get a Pro Max on a mix and match? That's where that comes into play. See, I don't think you're getting a Pro Max on
unless you
the
lock
cheaper.
into
Yes.
I got more.
And the middle tier plan, especially if we're talking business. That's where this conversation kind of changes, though, right? Like business
Oh, 6
plans.
lines. He's got 6 lines. Okay. All right. Well, that changes a lot. Okay, so I guess you could pick either one. You know, needing the international. I mean, Verizon does have a better offer now with the unlimited. What is it called? Ultimate?
Yes, I think
Got
so.
more.
Yeah, I guess it could work, man. I still think AT&T is the move, man. When it comes to the phones, when it comes to the international, it's good stuff.
Although I will say, if your T-Mobile business plan was set up correctly, your employer ID number, they can't do anything with that. So
Another thing to consider too, if international roaming is very important to you, AT&T is going to have you SIM locked for 36 months.
Facts.
So
then you
you
can't
got
even get a international SIM card.
yeah, just food for thought. I mean, realistically, my best advice to you would be go to a store, a corporate store for both. Make sure that you sit down with a rep, tell them exactly what you want, and have them give you a in-depth quote. Promos and everything. And then take that back to your 6 people that need these phones and say, here, which one of these options looks better to you? And also, you'd be a better judge of their local coverage for all of these 6 people.
Looks to me
So
like he's losing 2 free lines out of this. Like he's got 8 lines because they gave him, the third line free on, 2 sets of 6 lines.
yeah, it's really hard when you start getting into that many lines. It's gonna be pricing's gonna be pretty comparable, honestly.
I do think AT&T's business pricing is better. I
But
think.
Verizon's business plans are better.
Okay.
In my opinion, I think the Business Unlimited Pro is like easily the
It is good.
best
They just
plan in the
upgraded
industry.
it about a month ago, right? They just changed the terms. It looks really good now.
That's what, like 200 gigs of hotspot, which is just
That's
insane.
crazy.
Talk about
if you know what's going to end up happening at some point, those plans are going to be freaking sweet because the hardware on our mobile handsets are going to get better and better, and like you could legitimately turn your phone into like a legitimate gateway. They'll be powerful, man.
he's got me looking into this now. AT&T business plans. I haven't kept
John
up with any of this stuff.
John said he's moving away from T-Mobile strictly because of security reasons.
Good choice.
Damn.
So let's see. So actually, once you get past 5 lines,
It's all the same per line.
it's cheaper to go with Verizon. $5 a month cheaper. So at 5+ lines, it's $45 a line for their most in-depth plan. And you have, I guess the access is about the same, 200 gigs of hotspot. Although you do get this is huge. Unlimited talk, text, and data in Latin America and an international day pass for business up to 7 days per line per bill. So if you go business, go with the premium plan on AT&T Business, you get 7 international travel pass days included per line per month.
Unlimited experience, right, for each of those days?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, high speed.
That is huge. Highly consider that if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, he said international was important to him. 1 premier line, 5 mid-level tier lines.
I actually
That's
don't
what
know
he's saying.
what Premiere is because they don't
Maybe
advertise it.
Premium.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean then you're looking at 50 for one and then 45 for the rest. And you still
So
get 100 gigs of hotspot on that middle tier plan.
So Tim, I follow you on Twitter and stuff, so I saw that tweet and I know you got the response from Verizon. they slow you down after a certain amount of usage, right? They're going to throttle you. I just don't know if that means 3G speeds or what. Does anybody know?
What is TNF?
Thursday Night Football.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they were doing advertising. Like I'm telling you, I tweeted this out myself. Verizon is very aggressively advertising and promoting their business class home internet and mobile services. Very, very aggressive.
Yeah, so the nice thing about Verizon is that if you're connected to ultra-wideband, they don't like hard cap you on your hotspot after you've hit your high-speed allotment. Like 3 meg can do most like basic tasks on a laptop, especially if you're using it for work. And that's a huge thing to consider if you are like a super heavy hotspot user.
200 gigs is wild.
Yeah, I mean, I can't fathom how people can burn through 200 gigs of hotspot in a month to begin with. But
I mean, you're watching movies on your laptop off of your hotspot to get to 200 gigs, like daily. You're watching movies daily.
God, rest in peace, your phone's battery, dude. Holy smokes!
No, you got it plugged into the computer.
God damn. I guess that would be a good use case for like a hardware tether. But anyone broadcasting a Wi-Fi hotspot, you're just gonna burn the crap out of your battery so fast.
Hey, Pete, what's your advice on maybe setting up a business account for someone who's self-employed?
You gotta go to the IRS. There's this portal that they have for getting a what is it?
Tax ID number?
Yeah, TID. And then once you do that, they'll mail you the TID within a month. But to set it up, you need the business registered within your state. So, say in Colorado, for example, it's $100 to sign up, $10 to renew annually. Vegas or Nevada is a little more lenient, for example, so it varies by state. I think it was $25 set up in Nevada, and renewals were $5. So, but once you have it registered with the state, you then use your state business registration with the state secretary of state, and IRS has no issue issuing you a tax ID. Once you get the tax ID, go into the store, show them the tax ID. Congratulations, you're on a business line.
You can also do sole proprietorship on AT&T and Verizon.
Oh, damn. And that gives you all the business access?
Not the same level of like business credit, but
the plan access and stuff?
The TID was easier than justifying the sole proprietorship in Colorado. So
yeah, you'd have to look into the legality of that wherever you live.
Yeah, your route to doing this varies by state, and in some cases by county.
Oh god, man, the U.S. laws are just so bureaucratic.
Sloppy.
It's insane.
Sloppy, man. No standard.
Hey, I'm just happy when I did it. They were like, "Oh, you were in business for a year. You filed taxes with the business." Then they gave me then I got the TID through the IRS, and mercifully, after I did that, a lot of these T-Mobile issues, once a member set me up correctly, I've been able to dodge simply because a business is a different type of entity than a human.
All right, guys, last part of the show. This one's going to be kind of putting the I don't know, the bow on it. Are we buying any new devices through the end of this year? Like iPhone 15 generation, Pixel generation. We have some devices left. Anybody buying anything? Pete, start with you.
Mikey gave me a thumbs up when I asked him if the 8 Pro was worth upgrading compared to the 7 Pro and the Pixel. So, maybe, maybe not. I don't know yet. Depends on how drunk I am.
Anybody on the account looking to upgrade? Anybody within the fam or the biz?
Random interloper once or twice Ben is considering an upgrade to a 7 or an 8 base model for Pixel from his Galaxy 9S.
Oh, dude, that's a huge upgrade. That's huge. What are those phones are separated by what, 3 years? 4 years?
6.
6 years? Shit. Yeah, that's worth an upgrade. EM, any phones in your near term?
iPhone 15 Pro Max. Once I can get one. I goofed and I didn't pre-order because I just didn't wake up early enough to get the pre-orders, and by the time I checked the Apple store, they were back ordered till like November. So I'll be getting that one for myself. My mom needs a new phone pretty badly, and so does my sister. So
They all want iPhones?
yes, yeah, I'll probably end up going with a base 15 plus for my mom, and then iPhone 15 for my sister. Because
Sneed, I'm leaving it up to you to determine if in the middle of the night I just order another Pixel. 8th generation?
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting an 8 Pro, so you better get one too.
We'll see what the trade-in is for that for the 7 Pro, because I don't need 2, and at the moment I'm not making enough to justify having another phone sitting around.
Yeah,
but we'll see in the coming months.
Pete, they don't do great trade-ins. That's my only thing about Google, man. They don't do great trade-ins. The king of trade-ins used to be Galaxies. And then that kind of like the last couple years have been weak sauce.
Dude, when I traded in my 6 Pro for my 7 Pro, I got half off, which was good enough for me.
Yeah, but that's like the best you could do out of Google, though.
Yeah, I'm not complaining, considering I've used the living daylights out of my phone for a year. This current one, I've dropped it 30 feet, no cracks, no damage.
So
Dude,
my brother,
I do wiring. Like,
I think my brother has a 6A, and he likes the 7 Pro. I may just give him my 7 Pro, take the 6A, trade that, and maybe I can get $100 or $150 for it. What do you think they'll give me?
If no damage, you can get like $300.
Okay, I'll take that, and then I'll put that towards either an 8 or an 8 Pro. I mean, I really want an 8 Pro. I don't know if they'll send me a phone this year. We'll see. They did last year. They sent me the 7 Pro, so I bought the 7. I like the 7, but I like the 7 Pro better, so I sold the 7.
So, Sneed, the reason why I dropped from like 30 feet is I do camera wiring and in-home Ethernet retrofits, and sometimes you're perched up on a ladder, and you need a light and a camera.
So you
reach, and the phone falls, but no damage. Works like a pro.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, if I had an iPhone, I'm fairly certain the entire thing would have shattered, and it would have told the ghosts of Steve Jobs I was a bad person. maybe put me on Johnny Ive's shit list.
Man, he's not around anymore.
Don't discredit the iPhone. Dude, the stainless steel iPhones are bulletproof. Like, drop mine on flat concrete from 15 feet with no case, and it was fine.
Mine bounced and nothing happened. It's great.
These phones nowadays are just like, you got to try to break them. It's not like before where you bump into a corner, phone in your pocket and you crunch the screen or whatever.
Dude, I don't know what you're talking about, EM. The back of iPhones are broken even with cases on them. I have no idea what you're talking about. You are insane.
No, dude.
I have an iPhone XR on my desk. It was sitting there. One day I heard a snap. I looked over and noticed the back was cracked.
See?
Then I stood up.
I chipped the stainless steel before I broke the glass.
Then I stood up, middle of my desk, not plugged in, no nothing. A notification came on. It was in the middle of my floor. I don't know how it moved.
I guess
the iPhone hates me.
I'm telling you, dog. Every single time I look at someone's iPhone in a case and the back glass is broken. In a freaking case.
I've never broken an iPhone. Like, I don't know, man. You guys are rough on your phones, I guess.
No, man. Sheesh. No. Even my sister-in-law. She's like, man, I took off my case because I guess it was when she switched carriers, so she had to switch her SIM. She's like, my rear glass was broken. I don't even remember dropping my phone.
I don't know, man. iPhone.
I don't get how these people don't break their iPhones. They just break.
I guess you gotta take the intelligence level of the iPhone user into account.
What do you mean by intelligence level? I don't know about you, but Sneed and I here are master's degree recipients with arms.
Pete's flexing right now. Damn.
Didn't you know that androids are for the intellectuals?
Who says that, bro? Do people still say that nonsense?
I don't know, man. That was such a funny time, bro.
It was, man. Yeah, people were literally camping, like picking a side, and then, like, within our community at least, like everybody owns both. You know, you got people holding on to Galaxies for a few years, and then they try the iPhone, and they have both phones, and they're like, "Yeah, I like both. This is great."
I reluctantly have an iPhone. Still hate using it. The keyboard's total crap.
Yes, it is.
Reader John, I have the grip of a billy goat. That's the grip, and that's why the phones break, because I drop them.
Hey, that could be my issue, the grip of a goat.
Archie said...
Steve's done handshakes with me.
Yeah, Pete's a beast, bro. Pete's a beast. Archie says, last iPhone I broke was the 4S. It was probably the back glass, right?
Yeah, that iPhone was built like porcelain. People broke that thing. Every iPhone 4S I've used to see was broken. I broke mine. That was one that I did break.
I have a 4S on a desk on the other side of my room.
You can still activate it on AT&T prepaid.
Well, yeah, it's the AT&T phone. But the issue was the charging port broke, and I can't find anything to replace it with. You know, the good charging cable, the USB.
That was the like 20 prong, right?
No. Wait, yes.
I would say that's the big one.
Yeah. The one that was like the same as like the iPod Shuffle and shit.
Yeah, so I can't USB-C it, so what's the point in replacing it? It's going to be a legacy charger even if I go with Lightning.
What did Ryan say? MKBHD uses 2 phones, so if he does, I can too. Dang right. If
you don't need 2 phones unless you get someone on the side.
Let me guess. He was talking about how fantastic the iPhone is and how shitty the Pixel is, right? That's what he did, right?
No, I think he dailies a Pixel and an iPhone.
Wait. The Pixel's shitty?
Well, that's what every reviewer says.
So, granted, I only get 20 hours of battery life, and I don't charge the thing in overnight. But never had an issue with the Pixel.
I really wish OnePlus hadn't fallen from their graces.
Do they still manufacture devices?
I think so. Yeah, but they fell off hard after the OnePlus 8.
So, like, performance and innovation and those things are just not premier anymore?
Well, the OnePlus 10 did not go over well with the OnePlus customer base, and then after that, it was just kind of it's been a downward spiral. They don't have the same gusto they used to.
Hey, you guys want to get some of the SMT Nation involved? Should we put the link in the live chat?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sure.
Let's do it, man.
I
right,
wish.
guys.
I will give the caveat that if you jump in, I will ask you a random question about a sports team you're probably not near, isn't actively playing, or maybe a video game I'm interested in but haven't picked up. Hey, Sneed, guess what I'm playing by the end of the month?
Super
Mario
Smash
Wonder.
Brothers. Oh, damn.
You were doing the Mario thing.
I was, yeah.
So the latest 2D Mario game. I got it on the Best Buy Plus thing, where I buy 2 games, get one free for the Switch.
Nice, man.
Picked that up with Pikmin 4 and Mario RPG Remake.
All right, so the StreamYard link, if you guys want to jump on, maybe ask a question or make a comment to anybody on the panel, discuss anything, the link is there. When you click on the link, it'll prompt you to like sign in or something. Just go ahead and go through the paces and give the StreamYard access to your microphone. Camera's not necessary, but make sure you give the permission for the microphone so we can at least hear you. Make sure that you're on a good stable connection. If you're on a weak mobile connection, it's not going to work well. StreamYard does require a little bit of bandwidth, so just keep that in mind. And if we got connectivity issues, I'm going to kick your ass out. If you got well, what else? No, that's pretty much it, man. We really don't have any restrictions. We really appreciate you guys and just like the the interaction and stuff like that. The bearded
Avoid
one.
using AirPods. AirPods do not work.
Oh,
with
AirPods
StreamYard.
are trash. Yeah.
David said he's got an emulator. Plays Shining Force on my full 5.
Oh, that is dope.
Bro, we got so many good single player games that are out right now. Baldur's Gate, Starfield, and you're playing on emulators? Come on.
Dude, one of these days with Baby Yoda, I need to pick up and finish I think it was Shining Force 1 on the Sega Genesis.
I'm about to download whenever it becomes available the new FIFA game, whatever that is for the Xbox.
I'm not a big console guy anymore. So I don't know.
So
snap, we got our first guest, Pete. What up,
hey,
Ryan?
Ryan?
Hey, you hear me?
I'm not a big console guy.
Yeah, man. Hey, Ryan.
How are the Cubbies?
Am I on here?
So
snap, we got our first guest, Pete. All right, you got to turn off YouTube, man.
Ryan.
You got to back out of YouTube.
Yeah, man. Hey, Ryan.
I am off YouTube, I think. I'll check.
I think he's running the YouTube. You can kind of hear us in the
Okay.
background on that.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah. What's up, Ryan?
Okay.
How are the Cubbies?
I'm a Cardinals fan. I don't know how you got me crossed with the Cubs.
No.
Jesus
The joke is a sports team that you're probably not near.
Yeah. They're not doing great. Like, because I have a lot of friends from up around Chicago, and at least they're not the Bears.
Yeah.
That's
your
the team I
Cardinals
do
doing?
root for, and yeah, I just plead the fifth on that at this point.
Yeah, it's tough times right now, man. Tough times.
So what phone you rocking?
Right now, 13 Pro Max.
How's the battery health?
84. And I have my own theory as to what happened.
Are you motivated to get the 13S and free edition?
Maybe. We'll talk more about that, but I want to deal with the battery thing first. The thing that I think has happened with the batteries, I don't think it's hardware. I think it's software.
It's interesting.
Agreed. Didn't Apple get a class action lawsuit against that too?
I don't know if I didn't see that, but wouldn't surprise me. Here's the thing with the battery life. I had like the first year I had the phone, I might have lost 2 or 3% on battery health. iOS 16 came in and it just dropped like a rock.
Damn.
So if I get the new one, I'm gonna just basically start over with clean reinstall.
Mm. What's the cost for a battery replacement these days from Apple?
I can get one for $99 now. That's one of the few good
Is that
things
through
that's
Apple
happened.
Care
Apple has
Plus or
made
just
it
straight up?
cheaper. Yeah, I think it's straight up
Okay.
99.
I remember when they were doing what, like, remember that whole battery dilemma with some of the phones? They were doing like 30 or 60.
It was $30 because the FTC said anything else would be overburdensome for their $1,000 devices that they arbitrarily killed the batteries on.
To see it, in my experience, the life is like virtually every generation, the battery life has gotten better. And even with the battery life at 84, I'm still not noticing a huge drag on it.
Yeah, that's the battery life thing, man, with 5G modems. I mean, it's really been taxing. And especially for people that are speed testers, you're just gonna smoke your battery life, man. You know, the two things that in my experience, seem to crush batteries, it's not even video. It's it's speed testing, right? Taxing the cellular modem and you know, and the gaming.
Yeah,
And
I
Cell
don't really
Mapper.
do speed test much anymore. It's just does it work or not? Honestly, at that point.
Right. Oh, damn, we got Reader John in the house.
Hey, Reader John, how are the pirates?
Arr.
He said arg.
What up, bearded dragon?
Chillin'. Been a while.
Oh, somebody was asking, Michael Grove was asking in the comment section, you might know this, Reader John. How is the Pixel with accessibility? Have you owned one?
Yes, I have.
Tell me
and
about
for
it, man.
everybody that doesn't know, Reader John is formerly Blind G.
Yeah, there you go. Right.
But yeah, I did have a Pixel. It had Google Talkback on it, and it works pretty darn good, especially since I added new features into it.
There you go.
You know that Talkback, some of it used to need off-device processing, but in the 6, 7, and 8s, everything's on device, and it just figures out what's on your screen locally.
Yeah, that's what started pulling me away from voiceover, and I want to say it was the 13.1 version of Talkback added actions where you you could already do it on the iPhone, but on the Talkback you could scroll up or down with just one finger, and you could choose what action you wanted to do, like delete or archive or whatever. And that kind of cut out a bunch of steps, and it was great.
Yeah, Will says, spot on, Sneed. Speed testing is a killer. I would recommend only speed testing when your phone is actually plugged into a charger. And make sure you have an ice pack with you, too, especially if it's an iPhone.
Or 2 ice packs, depending how long you're going to be out.
I'm actually wondering if anybody in the community, since Reader John brought this up, and you, Sneed, do people look at the accessibility features that newer phones give them as part of a purchasing decision, or do they assume they're invincible?
What do you think, Pete? Less than 5%? Less than 10%?
I mean, when it comes to a new phone and what the phone offers, to me, like 50% of the I'm going to get it or not is the accessibility. But I think in general, less than 10% of the people even are concerned with the accessibility options phone provides.
I would say that people just learn which brands offer a legitimate accessibility suite, and then they just stick with it because they can count on it. It becomes something that they know, that they're going to have what they need. So, like Google, I think does a good job of it. From what I hear, Google does it better than Apple. So,
well, it depends on the population too, whether we're talking people with vision impairments or hearing
audio,
impairments, or mobility impairments. I mean, I would say iPhone would have the better switch access if you have to if you have mobility impairments. I would say that's pretty good right now. But I mean, Google's closing the gap. I mean, they're really closing the gap. Like, I wouldn't have considered an Android phone just a few versions back because the talkback experience was such trash. But now it's comparable.
Go to the eye doctor periodically, and when I'm done there, I need to turn on visual accessibilities to use the phone for a few hours.
Now, I will say on different Androids, like some of them are slower at processing than others. Like Pixel's pretty fast, Samsung's are really fast, Moto's are pretty fast. OnePlus, their implementation's kind of, if you're coming from like a visual impairment background, it's kind of sketchy to be nice. But I don't think OnePlus has that good advanced support in the States anyway, so don't touch it.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons to not think about a OnePlus, man.
Yeah.
Especially the newer version of OnePlus.
Unless you're just rocking a Nord and you're on T-Mobile, I mean, you can only do what you can do with your budget. So.
There was a glimmer of hope.
And then, Riley says, I couldn't use my first Android because there wasn't any accessibility, so I've gone to iPhone ever since. Yeah. Go ahead, Ian.
No, I was just going to say, there was a glimmer of hope for OnePlus when they had that brief partnership with Verizon.
Mm-hmm.
Game over now.
Pretty much.
Well, they had partnerships with T-Mobile too.
Who
Metro, or I think with the Nord 200 or 2000 or...
Who said that last quote? Sneed. But they couldn't use Android and just gave up and went to iPhone.
That was Riley.
Okay. Riley, I would say give it another try. I would definitely go the Pixel or Samsung route and just give it another try. The gestures are fairly similar to what you're used to with VoiceOver. You might have to give up something called the rotor, where you kind of turn your fingers like a dial. But they have something equivalent where you swipe 3 fingers. That's the only real difference. Other than that, it's pretty much the same now.
I have an idea for OnePlus for them to make a comeback. They start naming their phones like funny names. Like the OnePlus Balchinian. You know what I'm saying? Like something from movies that like people would laugh and remember. And
oh, not the Spaceballs reference.
Yeah, bro.
Or the OnePlus Ludicrous.
Yeah, bro. You just come up with stupid shit and just... Yeah, man, I got the Balchinian from OnePlus.
Oh, no.
Oh, man. Yo, Ryan, I forgot to ask you, man. Last time I checked with you, T-Mobile was cooking with gas and upgrades over there. Has AT&T or Verizon closed the gap, or is T-Mobile still cooking?
I would say AT&T's probably done a lot more than Verizon here.
Yeah. So you're getting
the T-Mobile
5G plus upgrades with the
AT&T would be it.
So the DoD,
but home internet is pretty good here, so I can't complain on that end. The data hacks, well, that shit I'm used to, sadly, because I got hacked in 2020 when I had a burner line on T-Mobile. My mom got hacked in 2018 because she had a T-Mobile line for international travel. It sucks, but our data is already out there anyway.
Yeah.
I hate to be that fatalistic, but
so
we already got screwed.
With the T-Mobile,
not like you can push the genie back in the bottle.
With the T-Mobile breaches, there was recently a healthcare company breach for in many states due to them using a Postgres Move It server
Oh, I
for
heard
backing
about
up.
this. That's terrible.
All the information you give to your phone company was also in the records that were lost in the breach.
Yeah, I think everybody's
So
social security is probably out there by now. I hate to be
everybody's
the one
social
fatalistic, but
security,
the
your
government's got to
credit
change how this
cards.
is regulated. We have to have a different system for identification for credit than our social security.
Pete,
the addresses I lived at going back till I was 16. Every car I owned, every type of, like, my Verizon account information got leaked with Experian breach. My AT&T account information got leaked with the TransUnion.
Oh, I got Verizon.
They both had my AT&T information, my T-Mobile information leaked. So until everything is fixed, it doesn't matter where you are, you're still screwed.
Yeah, it's as much a regulatory failure as it is a failure of corporations, in my own opinion.
You know what it really is, right? It's T-Mobile really hates Dish, and they just thought they just needed to get hacked the same way that Dish did.
And Dish lost access to their systems, dog.
Yeah,
T-Mobile.
They're working on it, Sneed. They're working on it.
Yeah, they sure are. They're working on a whole lot of nothing, dog.
I want Dish to succeed, and I know some of my comments on YouTube probably come off a little haterish, but I don't feel that way at all. I've been a Dish TV customer for close to 2 decades now.
How's the TV service?
It's fine. The only thing I really complain about is not having any regional sports networks on there anymore, but I understand why Charlie did it. The rates they were passing on the consumers, if they would have kept the regional sports networks, probably would have made a lot of Dish's customer base very angry.
Dude, regional sports networks, even if I went back to Comcast, I could not get my Rockies live. I'd have to go to DirecTV because...
Oh, you're in that market with Cronky, and he has this horrible thing with Altitude where it's not on Comcast. I just remember that shit.
Yeah. So the only way I can get regional sports is if I spend $1 billion on DirecTV.
So what you're trying to say is Dish is like the OG YouTube TV, where you get channels, you lose channels.
That's basically that.
Yeah.
Look, Charlie can be a hard ass, but that's probably one case where he's being a hard ass for customers.
Hey guys, what do you think of this comment from David? He said, I don't know.
Nice
once a company screws me, I have a hard time continuing to give them my money. I kind of feel like that's probably 90% of people.
Yeah, now I wish I could get Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax to stop monitoring my credit and go with the IRS, but I can't opt out of that one now, can I?
No.
Yeah, Pete makes a good point. I mean, at some point, if you're with cell phone carriers long enough, and if you switch often enough, you're going to get screwed at some point. So.
Yeah, everybody has to have identity protection at this stage. And some of us that play the frequently switching carriers game, it's just we're putting ourselves out there a little bit. It is what it is. It's just you live on the razor's edge a little.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just saying there's no such thing as a benevolent corporation in the telecom industry.
They're all malignant, if anything.
Yeah.
David says, I don't pay the credit bureaus, in response to Pete's comments. Raging Dusty said, my fiber went out earlier because they pushed an update. Now it has lower ping than before. Nice, dude. Nice. Happy for you, man.
Speaking of that, I've been less disappointed with my charter service recently.
So it's less trash?
It's less trash than it was. My ping times are lower, but I still have pretty frequent instability issues with it.
Well, I have Sparklight as the home cable provider in my town, and that's probably why I've switched.
Is it wireline or fixed wireless?
Sparklight is cable. DOCSIS, but their DOCSIS is trash.
Okay, so it's like Cox Communications over here.
Yeah, it's kind of run. Cox is a lot of their HQ stuff in Phoenix. The other cable company that has a lot of their HQ stuff in Phoenix is Sparklight. So they're probably trading trash for trash, like people work for Cox and then Sparklight and go back and forth.
So you were talking about Wi-Fi 7 earlier, right?
Yeah.
I got an email from because I had an Eero in the past. I got an email for that Eero Max Wi-Fi 7. Let's see. If you want 3 satellite or like one, I can't remember what they call them. 1 node and 2 satellites, $1,700.
What?
Holy!
I could set up a full Ubiquity for like half that.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, but is it Wi-Fi 7?
I could do 6E for
But you
cheaper,
get-
and that's
but
what
you
most
get
devices still support.
But you get MLO. You
Yeah,
get
we were
Milo.
talking. Yeah, the Wi-Fi aggregation of the 2.4, the 5, and the 6, and
I'm
then I
excited
guess
about that.
7. I don't know.
I'm excited about that.
I
wanna
put
talk-
together
man.
my Ubiquity for a third of that, and I get
gonna start-
better Wi-Fi coverage than a mesh
wanna
will
s-
give
Yeah,
me.
but you guys ain't messing with the Lambo. Let's cut it out right now. Just stop it.
But you
All
guys
right.
heard it. You guys heard it here first on Sneed. I'm going to start calling it MLO. I'm going to start calling it Milo.
The Milo aggregations.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. There's a lot of bandwidth coming to Wi-Fi. Shit's about to get real, dog. As long as you got the fiber,
1,200.
this shit's gonna be crazy.
Well, it's
1200.
overdue to see some of the stuff upgraded on the Wi-Fi into things. Because
Well,
it seemed
no,
like
man, it's gonna
5G
be
was
big
moving
for-
quicker for a long time. That Wi-Fi is like,
You're
we gotta
essentially
get our act together. here.
Ryan, it's gonna be big at like the sports games, the venues, you know, where
that's
you
where we
could.
need it.
Yeah,
That's
it's
where
not.
we need Wi-Fi.
Who the hell wants an 80 gig circuit to the house? Who's gonna get that?
There's someone
Well,
out there that would
I'd take
buy
a
it.
1 gig
I'll take it.
fiber to the house here. So. It served my
But,
needs for many years.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Just the having Wi-Fi that acts like cellular as far as propagation, and you have less dead spots in your house. That I don't know. That's just appealing to me.
Put an access point in each room.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, Vivian talked about it one time about getting millimeter wave built into the Wi-Fi standard would be so smart.
Yeah.
Oh my.
I mean,
goodness.
Where would they
Yeah.
find the spectrum for that? Like, where would
60
the FCC
gigahertz.
say, okay, this is the cellular millimeter wave and this is the Wi-Fi millimeter wave?
60 gigahertz.
it's unlicensed.
Yeah.
But
There's
man, you have to put a receiver in every room at 60 gigahertz.
yeah.
I mean, I think Dish. I think Dish is going to have to liquidate some spectrum. Maybe we can use some of that.
Yeah, I mean, regardless of what it is, I mean, whether you guys think it's useful now or not, like these multi-gig circuits coming to residential is going to become standard, and Wi-Fi has not kept up with the demands of these bandwidth increases coming on the fiber side.
Well,
Bro, you know how many 2.4 connections I still see whenever I'm outside running in the neighborhood? Like this shit is crazy, dog.
Well, they got to do their connected lights and cameras outside.
Well, that's what I'm saying, dog. Shit's crazy.
But I don't know. I just I remember. This is me acting old again, but I just remember having like 25 down and 5 up. I was like, okay, we're living the life now. And now
25 down and up. Like
I remember.
no, 25 down, 5 up.
5 up. Oh shit.
Life comes at you
I
fast.
was like, I couldn't imagine anything faster. And look at where we're at now. We're talking.
I
about
remember feeling like I was living on the hog. High life, man, let me tell you. When I got 1 by 0.25 on my broadband.
I didn't want to go that far back.
Yeah, I remember being on SI University Wi-Fi and be like, "Whoa, this is 100 megabit. This is what are they?"
Oh, Ryan, I forgot to ask you. Have you ever heard of Brazzers Fiber?
No, Brasura, bro. You keep getting it wrong. Brasura.
Yeah. So Rolando's from he's from a city in Texas, and he's been kind of like dealing with trying to figure out if he should go with the T-Mobile home internet, stay with them long term, or go with the local fiber provider. But they don't give him symmetrical fiber. They stagger his speeds. It's like the entry level tier is like 100 by 20 or something.
Yeah,
And
if
then it
you have fiber, why are you trying to be baby Xfinity? That doesn't make any sense.
yeah. It's crazy. So like he's always kind of trying to figure out what's going to be the best move because his fiber is not symmetrical and it's pricey, but it's obviously going to be more reliable than the fixed wireless access, especially if the T-Mobile site doesn't have backup power,
I
right?
don't even know if it's really fiber. I think it's just like a mesh network kind of situation. If they're not doing symmetrical, you know how.
But aren't they like choosing to not be symmetrical? Like fibers should be symmetrical.
Fiber usually is, and unless you have like a mesh network where there's like fiber at the premises, but the back end still got coax in it, you know, and then it'll just limit the uplink. I think
Bro, could you imagine speed testing your fiber optic network? You're eating a ham sandwich, and then all of a sudden you got 100 down and 25 up? Hell no.
It's such an artificial restriction.
Sneed?
Is it because they don't have the backhaul at their main servers? Is that it?
Maybe. I don't know. What do you think, Pete?
For one, you're speeding some beef shawarma, not a ham sandwich.
Shawarma's delightful.
But I'd be so disappointed if I was 100 by 25. I'd call them up and be like, "What the f? Why am I on Comcast? Fix this."
Yeah, it's Comcast.
At least he didn't say Cox.
Well, Cox, you don't get a connection, so.
Shout out to Troy, man. Thanks for coming through tonight.
Dude, their pricing, that ISP that he's talking about, their pricing is ludicrous. Gig by 100 is $300 a month.
You can't use it. That's the next OnePlus brand, bro.
So for $250 a month, I can get 10 gig symmetric here.
How much?
$250, 10 symmetric.
That is not bad.
Yeah, Peter has some of the best fiber options in the country where he lives in Longmont.
Yeah, it's
yeah.
I think about moving and then I'm like,
nah, dude.
My internet.
Don't do it.
Well, you would just have to carefully select the fiber provider that's worth a damn, you know, when you pick your new address.
Yeah, I'd have to move to a location that has a good fiber option.
Pete moves 2 blocks away. He's like, yeah, we got a new house.
Yeah, I move so close I can push the cart when moving.
Yeah, man. Pete knows what I lived, you know, in the beginning of the channel. We're dealing with Cox and their bullshit, man. Just blessed to have fiber, man.
I also know where you live right now. I haven't driven past it. But...
And if you can dig up old periscopes, you can see what he's interacted with that Cox.
Yeah, we had some moments. Yeah. Apparently, I've been known to turn green from time to time.
It might have been some anger management.
Oh, yeah, incredible.
Yeah, bro, me and the coax don't get along, dog. Bro, listen, I did a roundhouse kick. I don't like that. What are those boxes called that they attach to the house where they bring in the coax?
The tap.
Is that what they call it? A tap, bro? I like roundhouse kick the tap, bro. I did like a spinning heel kick on the side of my
terminal. It's an ONT.
Terminal. Right.
What did you do to the drop though?
Oh, I was ripping it to shreds, bro. And I threw all that shit into the street. And I said, "Come get your shit." Yeah. It was terrible, bro. It was horrible, unreliable. And then they're telling me that everything is fine. That's the worst part, dog. The worst part is when they tell you everything is fine, and you're like,
gaslighting.
It's crazy, and it's like, yo, I pay my bill every month, and this disconnects 18 times a day, and you tell me it's fine. Go to hell.
So where I live, if I tell my fiber provider if I'm having an issue, they ask me what the issue is, and if they can't troubleshoot it, they send out a free technician.
Bro, I had to do an FCC complaint to get a technician out.
It's a true
And they-
story.
and it was like a big thing, bro. I was dealing with the liaison and all that, bro. It's the trash company, man.
And then somebody came to his house, and Sneed's like, "I'm done. Goodbye." Get out."
Yeah, it was a whole thing, man. And then AT&T fiber came, and I was the first person to get connected. Made some shit happen in Atlanta. You know, shout out to the lady who manages the fiber project. She took care of business, had me connected on my birthday, bro. Shit was fantastic.
Sneed, that's now your fiber day. I'm sorry.
Yep, it is now my fiber day. No longer the Burt day. It is the fiber day.
She needs to work some magic for me, bro. Otherwise, TDS is going to come and overbuild AT&T.
That's crazy. That is nuts, man. You said they're a block away?
The AT&T is a block away.
I wish AT&T would overbuild my town.
Are they anywhere near you?
Across the river at Perryville.
Is it fiber or DSL?
Right
It's
now, it's
fiber,
still
right?
DSL. They're kind of getting screwed.
Yeah, that DSL is bullshit, bro. What's the speed on the DSL? Do you know?
Probably up to 100 at most.
You can get 100 over there? Damn.
They're a little better off with because Project Prano went over there and there's at least remote terminals.
The first apartment I
Frontier
rented
here is way worse than AT&T is in Perryville.
The first apartment I rented had AT&T Uverse DSL, and it was 100 meg down. I think I got 10 up. It was good. But then here, it was 50 down and 5 up.
Yeah, real talk.
away
I
from
wish
the
Verizon
DCM.
and Frontier would get back together again, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Bro, Troy just said they get 300 on some of their DSL. That's crazy.
Is that considered VDSL?
I always get confused between VDSL and ADSL.
That's VDSL.
Yeah, VDSL. That's what Perryville is. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it would be really nice. Verizon and Frontier became buddies again. But
now allegedly, not Perryville, but St. John, which is to the north of Perryville, again on the Mississippi, on the other side of the river for me, is getting AT&T fiber built out.
So,
nice.
Brian, this is what you do. All right.
I should probably move to St. Genevieve. That's what I should do. But
no. You get a friend on the other side of the river with the AT&T fiber. Then you get this You get this millimeter wave point-to-point dish, and you beam your shit over.
Yeah, that's going to be a long beam because I think St. John's 20. It's not 20, but probably 15 miles.
This only works for less than half a kilometer.
Yeah, if we had fiber directly across the river from us, that'd be one thing.
Oh, damn, Ryan, we got breaking news. Dish confirmed working on the iPhone 15 BYOD. It's using AWS IP address and routing. Oh, shit.
Yes, that's because it's Fire Mobile.
Is Amazon really the stalking horse behind Dish here? Because if that's the case, then maybe Dish has got a little better odds than I thought. if it's just Amazon that's just going to constantly give Dish money, then
Sneed,
they might have a shot here.
I don't think it's the money. I think it's the partnership. It's the opportunities. It's the cracking through the door. You know what I'm saying? It's not really about the money.
If it were my call, I'd have Amazon just buy out Dish. But
go ahead, Pete.
Do you remember when I called it? Called it Fire Mobile all those decades ago.
Yep, Fire Mobile's coming, folks.
What keeps me away from Dish is I don't want to buy a phone through them. I want to bring my phone to them. And
that's coming. Their device support is getting better.
I mean, I have a Moto Edge Plus. I'm not going to buy theirs. I like mine unlocked.
You know what my problem is with Dish? Charlie's a dick.
Yeah. Everybody does that. It's
he's making life challenging.
All right.
I heard, this is just speculation. But I mean, the guys that are telling me this have been right about pretty much everything they've told me. I heard he still signs the checks that are 20 grand or less.
It was 10,000 at one point, and he's like, okay, I'll relax a little bit.
That's
we'll
crazy.
do 20 or less.
That's crazy.
Okay, Sneed,
dog.
we need a poll. Which is worse, Mike Sievert or Charlie Ergen?
That's a
I mean,
toss-up at this point, I'd say. Can we put Hans in the
Behind-
poll as well?
Behind closed
Okay, hold on a
doors
second.
or-
Hold on,
or
Hans
public
is a
facing.
hold on.
Hans is a
Hans got
nice
the
guy.
best shoes. Hans got the best shoes. Come
Yeah,
on.
I'll
Yeah,
give him that.
he's a genuinely nice
Hans
guy.
has got the best kicks game.
That's true.
I mean, I imagine Mike Sievert being just an absolute rat behind closed doors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think
He got the job
Hans
because
is
he
a good
ground-nosed his
person.
own boss. That's what happened.
I bet you John Stanky is probably like the coolest dude to play poker with, but I
In the
bet you
world.
he's a savage when it comes to the business.
Now I know
Yeah.
people that I've talked to on like AT&T was trying to buy out Alto here. I actually did get a call saying, "Hey, we want to upgrade our service around Southern Illinois and around Chester." And it was one of the people that Stanky sent. Super nice guy. Probably the nicest on any of the corporate level that I've talked to from any of the three companies.
Mhm.
Or like the other two, it was just like pulling out, just screeching nails with the chalkboard, trying to talk with people from Verizon or T-Mobile on corporate end. AT&T people, I will give them credit. They've all been super nice. I'm sure behind closed doors, they are cutthroat as anybody. But
Right.
when they're dealing with customers, they are very cordial. It's a Southern gentleman thing they've got going on, I think.
Maybe.
All I know is I remember it's just like etched into my brain that Mike Sievert and what's the guy Ryan Reynolds, that little commercial they did.
Mint Mobile.
Yeah, when they did that little video together when they were trying to merge. And oh my goodness, that was so cringe. I mean, I think
Ryan Reynolds didn't want to be in the same room with that dude.
You could tell, bro. That was awful.
Sievert's very cringe. He's full of shit. He's disingenuous. I mean, he's Eugene, bro.
If you're cringe, just embrace it. Just make it your personality.
He starts
Don't
rocking
try to be
back and
something
forth.
you're not. I think the issue with Sievert is he's trying to be something.
I mean, he used to be a good guy, but then Sneed started taking his mom out to the yard house.
Yo, man. Yo, that's a throwback, man. But I ripped the shackles off her feet, I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
All right, TMI, Sneed, TMI.
Yeah, the stream is now officially demonetized.
Oh, man. See the thing. So, like, Hans.
It's a metaphor, YouTube. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, it's just the song, man. So with Hans, the business side seems fine. It's like different parts of the house, right? So like fixed wireless looks good, business looks good. The consumer thing, they just don't give a damn. Like they pretend to give a damn, but like clearly the numbers just don't show that there's any progress.
Yeah, but enterprise has always been where the money's at, to be honest.
Well, if you look at Hans when he was running Ericsson, it's kind of the same thing. Ericsson would do some good things, some bad things, but nothing seemed to be all on the same page. And when the guy that came in afterwards, I can't think of his name, came in, they started getting all their act on the same. Everybody was on the same wavelength again. I got to look up the guy who's the Ericsson CEO now, but I think he's actually done a really good job with him.
Did you want to jump in?
No, I was just saying we're still living in the post-Manone era.
Oh, God, that's who. He's done really good with Ericsson since he took over that.
Come on, man. But Hans hired Manone.
We all. I guarantee you, anybody in the live chat that's a manager or a hiring manager has made mistakes.
Yeah.
But we got to give Sampath some time to rework the consumer group, and I think he's heading in the right direction. In my opinion,
he needs some time. That he's.
What I always wanted to know was it that bad that Ronan had to go? Was it?
I think he had shackles on his feet. to be honest,
maybe.
I think the golden parachute was getting a little too heavy. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I'll tell you what, AT&T seems to be firing on all cylinders. T-Mobile's still growing and making money now, so fixed wireless access has been a godsend for T-Mobile and Verizon. That's revenue that they're literally helping them build their 5G network, right?
Until you look
Major.
at T-Mobile's chart.
Yeah, but T-Mobile, I mean, I don't know what their video strategy is right now. They seem like they're lost in the wilderness on that.
Their video
But AT&T
strategy?
knows exactly what they're doing with it.
Video?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
Like
going to make
AT&T
T-Vision
Direct,
great again,
I
right?
think AT&T really benefited from splitting that DirecTV thing off a little bit to where they still own it.
But you
DirecTV
bring up
can be its own
T-Mobile.
thing.
What's your angle though on that?
Like you look beyond Netflix, there's really not anything they're bundling with video.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Got you.
They had
like Apple
thing.
TV Plus, but
they had this thing.
is
It was
that
called
something
Layer
that's a
3. It
factor to
was
draw people
amazing
in?
until they touched it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
I
layer
miss my
3,
layer 3,
force
let
them
me
out
tell
to
you.
layer 3.
See?
Yeah, I think MS put it really well. He's honest gentleman, and you got to respect his transparency as a CEO.
Yeah, I agree.
Is
I
this
still
according
think
to Stanky?
he's lying when he says we have good momentum in the consumer group. I think he's
Oh, you
lying
mean-
through his teeth. Everything else, I believe him. Just when he talks about consumer, I don't believe shit.
I'm just waiting for the post My Plane era.
Yeah, I think we're all waiting for that. So
I mean, it's okay. But I just know, like, every so many years, they just wipe the whole slate clean and start all over again. So
I can make a bet that whatever plan Verizon comes up with is going to be better than my plan. So
Yeah, see,
gonna be
they had
better?
to make
yeah,
these ones
it
worse.
has to be. I don't know how you can get worse than that.
What do you
yeah.
have?
I understand. Yeah, I mean, they have to make it. Once they come back, they got to make it worse so they make more money. I get it.
Well, no, they
That's
got to
tough.
make it worse to build up the excitement for the better plan. You know.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. And they're like, called like, and there a syndrome like, I'm not sick. You know, you're sick. You need this. What? Yeah, maybe I am sick.
Stockholm syndrome. Isn't that what that's
syndrome.
called?
Stockholm syndrome.
Or-
Hey, Pete, do me a favor, bud. You ready?
Oh, yeah?
Take us home, bud.
How are we taking it home? The hashtags?
Yeah, hit me with your all of the best hashtags.
Oh, I think I was saying take me home.
Ooh, the best hashtags. Hashtag replay crew. Hashtag SMT. Hashtag the real SMT. Hashtag feed the bear. Hashtag let's go yogi. Hashtag oh my god, I love that shawarma. Hashtag peace and love.
Nice.
What else
Yeah.
am I missing?
Hashtag Gator shoes.
Gator
Hashtag
shoes,
mod
that's
squad.
yeah.
Sorry, Yoda busting out the wrench today.
Oh, you know what was a good hashtag back in the day? It was about 3-4 weeks ago. Hashtag the big stank when I did the AT&T video and they had their quarterly report. Yep, hashtag
Oh,
big
geez.
stank.
Oh, no.
Did Jim Cramer apologize for dissing Stanky yet, or is he just always going to
He's a
weasel
dick,
about
bro.
that?
Kramer's a freaking idiot.
Hashtag.
I
I'm
swear to
tired
God,
of
every
hearing him
every
talk
time I
about
invest in a company and that fool starts talking about it, I instantly sell, bro. I'm out. You know?
Isn't
got
that
one.
what you're supposed to do?
Jesus, man.
I got a hashtag for you, EM. Hashtag more chicken.
Hashtag
There you
more
go.
chicken. There we go.
Hashtag $100. Bro, we got smartphone plans that are $100 now. This is craziness.
Hashtag make breaches great again.
Yeah, it's like we've returned to 2010, except now we don't have subsidies. We
Hmm.
do have subsidies. It's just not the same kind.
Oh, MS got a good
Hack
one.
Mobile.
MS got a good one. Hashtag real men of connectivity. That's a good one.
There you go.
What's connectivity?
Like being connected to a network.
Yeah.
So not
Hashtag-
AT&T in my market.
Oh.
Hashtag League of Extraordinary Connectedness. I don't know.
Yeah, all the best, man. Thank you guys. Please do like, share, and if it's your first time here, subscribe, and then turn on the bell notifications so you know whenever we upload videos and go live here on the channel. And of course, if you want to support us, you could buy us a coffee. Link is in the description. There's other ways too. You can check out all those things. They're in the description. Thank you to the panel. Big shout out to Reader John, Ryan for coming by as guests, Bearded Dragon, EM. We had Moose for a moment, and B for like 13 seconds. And that's it. We out this piece. Peace.
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 Peace.